Hello, I'm Dynast Amir.
So I reached out to another friend of mine. I said, look, I need to go on vacation somewhere. Where should I go? He said, go to Africa. And not only am I going to go, I'm going to explore a new country. So I went to Tanzania, South Africa, Namibia, Mali, Senegal, Morocco, Liberia, Namibia, Kenya, the Voodoo Festival in Ouida, Gambia, Togo, Cote d'Ivoire. Sierra Leone, Ghana, Nigeria. It's been a beautiful experience, just learning more about our culture, our indigenous culture. So Uhuru means freedom in Swahili. I'm in search of my roots. In finding that, I would experience my Uhuru, which is freedom.
Till next time, Dynast Amir. I'm out.
Peace, family. I hope all is well. Let me get this light together. Give me 1 second. There we go. Bam, turn that down. There we go. I hope all is well. I hope your morning, afternoon, wherever you're at, I hope you're having a great hump day. Today is Wednesday. Today is hump day. So hope everything is going well. Do me a favor. If you're in the chat, again, if you are in the chat, hit the like button. Okay, hit that like button. Let's tweak that algorithm. Okay, hit the like button. Also make sure you share, and also make sure you subscribe to the content. Again, share and subscribe to the content. What else do we have here? If you have not bought the documentary, again, if you have not bought the documentary, please go and buy the documentary. Again, if you have not bought the documentary, please go and buy the documentary. Shout out to everybody in the chat room. Marie, I see you. Gina, you're in Sierra Leone. You're in Sierra Leone, Gina. Listen, we'll be there in November. We'll be there in November. If you're there, maybe we can go grab a plate of stew green or something. Maybe we can go grab a plate of stew green. Or palm butter. So let me know if you're if you plan on being there in November. Again, let me know if you plan on being there in November. Man, listen, I almost had to cut the heat on this morning. It's starting to get cool here in it's almost October. Yeah, it's almost October, guys. We only got two more months left in the year. It's already October. I almost had to cut on the heat this morning. It was kind of nippy, kind of chilly, as my grandma would say. It was kind of chilly this morning. So, peace. Shout out to CMO27. Sacktown, greetings, bro and family. Southside, born and raised, South Sac, 21st and Florin. Yes, sir. From South Sac, 21st and Florin. Born and raised. So shout out to you, CMO27. Guys, listen, make sure you go to searchforuhuru.com. Go to searchforuhuru.com. If you have not bought the documentary, if you have not bought the documentary in Search, Park, okay. Listen, me and my mom used to go to Oak Park Market on Sundays and get the chitlins back in the day. Was that Oak Park at 33rd? No. That's that 12th. Because I think 12 turns to the Sutter, right? When you cross over Franklin. Is that 12th Avenue? When you cross over Franklin? And then it turns to Sutter. But 12th and 33rd at Oak Park Market, we had to go early in the morning. Because, listen, if you know about Oak Park Market, it's definitely hide your wife, hide your kids. So we would go in the morning on Sundays, like around 11, and get the chitlins from Oak Park Market back in the day. Because in the evenings, it's definitely hide your wife, hide your kids when it comes to Oak Park Market. So, yeah. I used to get my hair cut over in Oak Park Market as well back in the day. Then I started getting my hair cut. If you're from South Sac, you remember Lord Tony's off of Florin Road, Florin and 24th over in the same shopping center as Alpine Bowling Alley. I think they shut Alpine Bowling Alley down, though. I used to get my hair cut at Lord Tony's. Then I started getting my hair cut off of Mac Road at Another Look by my cousin. But yeah. But guys, if you have not bought the documentary yet, In Search of Uhuru, make sure you go to searchforuhuru.com. Link is in the chat room. Link is on the screen. Make sure you go to searchforuhuru.com and buy the documentary, you guys. Buy the documentary. Go and support the documentary. Again, go to searchforuhuru.com. I left in 91 and moved back last year. Went to Oak Ridge and Grant High. Okay. So you went to the same high school as O'Shea. Shoot, cut your own hair, save $30. Man, what rock you live under? Where in America can you get a haircut for $30? Except for supercuts. Tell me where in America can you get a haircut for $30? Haircuts now starting at $50, homie. $30 for a children's cut. Haircuts now starting at $50. Yeah, where you get a haircut at for $30? Yeah, them days are over. Them days of, getting a $10, $15 haircut. Listen, them haircuts are over. Dude, tell me where. Again, tell me where you could get a haircut, where a brother could get a haircut for $30. Maybe somewhere near a college campus, maybe on a college campus somewhere, or you go to the barber school. Good luck with that. Again, you go to the barber school, but good luck with that. But where can you get a haircut for $30? Talk about some save $30. Man, please. Please. Yeah, nah, $30 ain't no standard. Here in the DMV diners is still $30. Yeah, man, nah. I don't know. Somebody said pay $8 for the Vietnamese spot. Nah. So again, go to searchforuhuru.com and buy the documentary if you have not bought the documentary. Nah, I go to ain't no bougie white barbers. White barbers can't cut black hair. Again, white barbers can't cut black hair. My brother-in-law charges me $35. Kyle, you get the hookup. White barbers can't cut black hair, so ain't going to no white barber. Guys, tours coming up. Go to donfo.africa. Again, go to donfo.africa for the tours. Somebody said $3.70 here in Uganda. Right, I said in America. Now in Uganda, in Africa, you get the haircut for the low, about $5. But in America, nah, them days are over, player. Them days are over. Guys, make sure you go to donfo.africa. Humble. I never seen a black man at Supercuts. I'm gonna tell you a true story. So back when I was in elementary school, I was like, I was student of the week, and they would give us a gift certificate. So when I was student of the week, I won a gift certificate to Supercuts. I went to the Supercuts on Florin Road. Listen, I took my black butt in there. All them white barbers was like, listen, we cannot cut black hair. And so there was a black lady in there who ended up cutting my hair. It was a black lady. She faded me nice. But yeah, so my mom took me to Supercuts. We used that little $10 or $15 gift certificate, whatever it was. It was like 10 to 15 bucks. But that black lady was nice with those clippers. Dead serious. So guys, donfo.africa. We are rolling to Sierra Leone in November. Again, we are rolling to Sierra Leone in November. Would love to have you. Again, would love to have you. Would love for you to join us in Sierra Leone in November. Come and join us. Go to donfo.africa to learn more. And also you can see the other countries that we're traveling to in our itinerary and places and destinations that we're going to next year. So again, go to donfo, DANFO.Africa. Again, please go to donfo, DANFO.Africa. I wish I could be with you, but I have business commitments here through the holidays. Gina, you ain't gonna be busy 24/7 from November 20th to December 7th. Stop it, Gina. Stop it. And guys, listen, citizenship is available to those who qualify. Citizenship is available to those who qualify. Here's my Sierra Leone passport. Again, you take your DNA test, with African ancestry. Again, take your DNA test with African. Well, Gina, if you're a caterer, we're coming to you. We're coming to eat some of your food. Go to African ancestry, take your DNA test. Again, go to African ancestry, take your DNA test. Results come back to Sierra Leone. You are eligible for citizenship. And I am taking a group in November to get their passports. Again, I'm taking a group in November to get their passports. So hit me up. Go to donfo.africa. Again, go to donfo.africa, family. All right, what else we got here? That's it. So listen, I was reading an article the other day in regards to the number of Americans who are relocating to Mexico and Portugal. Shout out to Philip Lindsay. So I wanted to play this video real quick. And guys, listen, especially my ADOS FBA family. I know you built America. All right. I get it. I know you built America. I know your ancestors were sharecroppers. I get it. All I'm saying is it will be in your best interest, especially with what is going on in the world, to have options. That's all I'm saying. There's nothing wrong with seeking residency or seeking citizenship outside of America to have a backup plan. There is nothing wrong with that, okay? Y'all need to get off this. We fought back. We fought back. We did this. We did that. We built this country. I get it. But it is okay to seek options and opportunities outside of America. Me, I'm Sierra Leonean and Nigerian. So I'm good. So if something were to happen, I got somewhere to go. Okay. Yeah, because I mean, when you guys come with this, we built this country. We was sharecroppers. We ain't running. You sound ignorant. You sound ignorant. All right. You should not allow your ego. Here we go. Do not allow your ego to seek opportunities out of America. All right. Because on one hand, you built the country, we got the Aboriginal crew, your Aboriginal, your Indian, your indigenous, your sharecroppers, you fought back. But then you guys are always complaining about the white man. You're always complaining about the white man and how the white man is replacing you and white supremacy, and they poisoned the water in Jackson, Mississippi. So I'm like, look, they don't want us to have black wealth. You're always complaining about something new. Not saying that some of the complaints aren't valid, but Jesus, you're always complaining about something new. So all I'm saying is, hey, how about if they sabotage the water in Jackson, Mississippi, if they sabotage the water in Flint, Michigan, if they sabotaged Black Wall Street, and now you're afraid to build the new Black Wall Street because you think the white man is going to sabotage that new Black Wall Street. How about you're afraid of white supremacists say, okay, no problem. How about seek other options outside? The race soldiers, police officers, they are gunning us down. Okay, I get it. So how about seek opportunities and options outside of America if it's that bad? Oh man, we built this country. We're gonna fight back. Okay, all right, well, whatever. So to those who have an open mind, all right, and believe that there are opportunities, in fact, not even believe, know there are opportunities outside of America. Hey, Gina, what's going on with the Black Wall Street in city of Stonecrest? I haven't been yet. I need to go. We were talking about that the other day. We were talking about that the other day here on the channel, as far as the new Black Wall Street in Stonecrest. Yeah, I mean, if you want to stay in America, stay in America, no problem. All I'm saying is, listen, there are options outside of America. There are options, and what I'm saying is, you don't have to necessarily seek these options out of fear. All right, because I'm telling you right now, I ain't worried about the police. I ain't worried about I'm not worried about the Proud Boys. Right now in Atlanta, Pookie and Ray Ray are the problem. Right now here in Atlanta and in the majority of these cities, it's Pookie and Ray Ray. It is Pookie and Ray Ray are the problem. Not the race soldiers, not the Trump supporters, not the Proud Boys. It is Pookie and Ray Ray. Pookie and Ray Ray are the problem. So you might want to seek options from Pookie and Ray Ray. Pookie and Ray Ray shot a female rapper in Memphis. Pookie and Ray Ray shot a female rapper in Houston. I'm just saying have a plan B. That's all I'm saying. Have a plan B. All right. Have a plan B. It just makes sense and it's smart. Let me pull up this video real quick. Guys, do me a favor, hit the like button. Again, please hit the like button. I was watching this video. I was watching this video the other day in regards to Americans who are moving to Mexico. You have moving to Portugal, you have moving to Africa, obviously. So there are options to live outside of America. And listen, just because you're born here doesn't mean you have to live here. Just because you're born in a place does not mean you have to, or you're forced to live in a place. All right, so, and guys, listen, moving also doesn't it's not going to be perfect. You might have your issues, but again, there's nothing wrong with having options. That's all I'm saying. Anybody that tells you not to have options is an idiot.
In our world lead, a growing number of Americans are crossing the southern border and making Mexico City their new home. The reason? Well, remote work and cheaper living costs. But local residents in Mexico City say Americans are bringing in gentrification and are driving up everyday costs for Mexicans. CNN's David Culver takes a look at the cause and effect of Americans settling in Mexico City.
Look past the charming cafes, scenic parks, flashy apartments, and you'll see this capital city for what it's becoming, a refuge for migrants.
I grew up in New York, LA.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Perhaps not the border crossing you expected. Americans leaving pricey U.S. cities, heading south to work from home in Mexico City.
It is starting to feel like home. I've been here for several months already.
Born and raised in the U.S., Eric Rodriguez hardly speaks Spanish and admits he's not here to rediscover his Mexican roots so much as to save money.
In San Diego, my apartment was probably $2,500.
For a one bedroom?
For studio.
For studio.
Here, I have a one bedroom and I pay $800 a month.
The State Department says 1.6 million U.S. citizens live in Mexico, but they don't say how many are living and working there on tourist visas. The Mexican government does not track that data either, but they recorded more than 5.3 million American tourists flying in during just the first 5 months of this year, nearly a million more than that same period in 2019, pre-pandemic. Rodriguez is among the unrecorded but undeniably present so-called digital nomads, here officially as tourists, most working remotely for U.S. companies, still getting paid in U.S. dollars, allowing for a far more affordable life in Mexico.
I think there was a sense of, we want people to come here to stimulate the economy. Thank you for being here. But I know that recently there's been kind of complaints from locals about the effect that expats living here has had on their own lifestyles.
Sandra Ortiz is one of them.
Los precios más elevados porque saben que es puro extranjero.
The prices are going up high. She said it's difficult because a lot of these foreigners come and they have a bunch of money to be able to spend on some of these apartments and rents.
For more than 50 years, Ortiz and her 4 siblings ran a restaurant popular with locals on a prime corner in the increasingly desirable Roma neighborhood. But as prices climbed, Ortiz says it became unaffordable for the family. And in February, she says they were evicted. All their belongings piled onto the sidewalk.
You had 5 minutes to get everything out and move it out of the business.
So where do the locals go? That's what we need to be asking ourselves, Fernando Bustos Grospe tells me. The pandemic, coupled with global inflation, have made matters worse, leaving locals in fear of a culture clash. This is part of the problem, he says. The expats move here because it's cheap, not because they want to truly immerse in the local culture. Families like the Ortizes feel they're getting pushed out. Sandra and 2 of her siblings now working.
And I'll say this: when I'm in Africa, my goal is to immerse in the local culture. I mean, that's what I do. I immerse into the local culture. Dude, listen, even in Senegal, and I told people this before, when I started going to Africa, specifically West Africa, There were no white people on that plane. Now you have a lot of white people on the plane. When I went to Senegal for the first time, I didn't see any white people. I saw maybe a couple of white people. Now in Senegal, in the car, white people everywhere. So listen, they're going, like, people are looking for opportunities to live everywhere. That's why I do not listen to these militant clowns, these militant ADOS FBA clowns who are telling you not to leave or seek opportunities to live outside of America. It's idiotic. Like I said, when I'm in Senegal, I see white people, Asian, Indians. Same thing in Sierra Leone. Same thing in Nigeria now. A little bit of Nigeria when I was in Lagos, especially when I was in Lagos. So everybody is participating in this growing global community, but ADOS FBA got you guys talking about some, we were sharecroppers in America. We built this country. We're gonna fight back. So yeah, don't listen to them.
At another restaurant, no longer the owners. The thought of visiting their old restaurant?
No,
Too painful. We went by, renovations already underway. High-end apartments coming soon.
And Jake, for folks who are looking at this report and say, well, perhaps I'll take my work from home to Mexico City, it does seem like there is an unofficial crackdown underway right now on part of the Mexican government. We're hearing from some U.S. travelers who say that as soon as they arrive, Mexican officials at the border are limiting their stay to some as few as just 10 days, saying they need to leave after being in the country for 10 days. Now, again, this is unofficial. So we've asked the Mexican government about this. They say, as of now, their current policy still stands, so there's no change. But it does show you there is some effort to try to curb this a bit. That said, it's a delicate dance for some of these officials, because on one part, they want to crack down and try to limit people staying too long. But on the other, Jake, they don't want to
All right, everyone. Yeah, so I just wanted to share that real quick. Listen, I'm gonna put the link in the chat room. I'll put the link in the chat room. Oh, Panama's a great place too. Panama, I got people in Belize. And guys, in these countries, like specifically Panama and Mexico, it's relatively pretty easy to get a visa. Not a tourist visa, but I'm sorry, residency. It's pretty easy to get residency in Mexico and Panama. And pretty much a lot of these countries. But listen, links in the chat room. Link is in the chat room. Again, link is in the chat room. Please click on the link. Again, please click on the link, and you can call in and add to the conversation. Mexico is implementing a tax ID card to get taxes from the gringos. Okay, hey, I don't blame them. Kelvin Hardy. To put it more bluntly, African Americans who have the financial means are leaving to get away from this sick culture of glorifying ignorance by our people. Guys, so somebody asked me in the chat room, why did I leave? I haven't left full time yet, but I'm passported up. So, when I do leave, I'll be good. And that's what I'm working on. I'm establishing myself in several different countries. So when it's time to go, I'm good to go. I'll just be going to my other homes. But listen, link is in the chat room. If you want to call in and add to the conversation, you are more than welcome to call in and add to the conversation. Love to hear your guys' opinion and feedback. Well, especially Gambia. Gambia is okay. I mean, I'm not a fan of Gambia. You might be a fan of Gambia, but me personally, I'm not a fan of Gambia. That's my personal opinion. That's my preference is Senegal, Sierra Leone, and Nigeria. Senegal, Sierra Leone, and Nigeria. That's those are my preferences. But listen, link is in the chat room if you want to call in and have the conversation. Link is in the chat room. Listen, somebody in the chat room said, well, Mexicans and Nigerians are breaking their neck to come to America. Why should I leave? Stay. Why would you move to Nigeria? You crazy. Opportunity is home. Developing country. Why not? Why wouldn't I? See, the same people who were saying why would you move to Nigeria are the same people who have the same mentality as the people who are telling me don't buy my home in the west end of Atlanta because it's the trap, it's the hood. But let me show you guys something real quick. Hold on one second. Let me show you guys something. Let me pull this up real quick. I want to show you guys something real quick. Let me see if I can pull this up. Let me bring still my beats. Go ahead, still my beats.
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, what's going on, bro?
Shit, just chilling. I don't know, your perspectives on some things kind of have me feeling some type of way, just because I feel like you're it made me curious as to why you see things the way that you do. Because I ain't been outside the country. I know the world is big, but I just kind of feel like it's an attachment to here because there's a debt. It's like leaving is injustice. I wouldn't even want to leave other people here that I would feel like I'm leaving them. You get what I'm saying? Like I would want to at least bring the public discourse and give a shot towards changing it in a way that meets the times. Like if MLK had the internet, people would be, it would be a completely different thing. So I feel like we haven't really stood up, and
yeah, but right. But I think you said something on the onset, and it pretty much explains the way explains why you think the way you do. You never left the country, so it's you wouldn't understand.
Yeah, and I mean, technically, like I'm only half FBA, so even then, I could say, immigrant. Yeah, like I was born here, but my mom was out of the country, so it's like I could really attach to whatever I want to. But I feel like I've lived the experience here, and I've always identified as people see me, they say I'm black, so I've lived that experience, even though I'm not like full FBA,
Right. Well, what I'm saying is, hey, if you want to stay, stay. But I think it would be ignorant to not seek opportunities outside of America, especially with the current climate and what's going on in the world.
Seek opportunities pertaining to what though? Like you're talking business wise, or because I see it like compound or having a tribe up basically. Like I understand that. And just the political climate here, like getting away from that, it is toxic. But I don't know. I at least see a legit political movement or something first.
It's not coming. Okay, when you say legit political movement, what do you mean? Like what exactly is that? What does that look like?
I don't know what the time frame is. I got to do some research because I ain't really dove into building a political coalition or what. It's grimy on the inside too. They be getting people off the ballots, like the third party people. They don't even like. So I don't know. It's just the duopoly. But I would like to see something that's other than this uniparty of corporatism and just taking our rights while you're lying to people. So
it's not gonna happen.
I think it's like ugly.
Well, you know what? I would say this: they had a guy who was, I would say, not part of the system, but you guys didn't like him. His name was Donald Trump. Donald Trump.
Oh yeah, he definitely was the nuke to the system. That's why he won the first time. Everybody was like, yeah, just nuke, reset. Like everybody knew what they were getting when they voted him in, but his rhetoric, it was divisive. Plus, you had the entire media engine just propagandizing like the entire society. So that you got a bunch of people to polarized is all they really did,
Right, but if you see what he was doing, like,
oh yeah, it's
everything you're saying,
geopolitically.
he was you had Donald Trump, people didn't want him, so
Yeah, he pulled us out of everything. He really kept. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he was definitely better. But I don't know. It's a capitalism thing too, because we just worship money. People think any type of help to the working class is a handout or socialism. Like people that are it's miseducation. I think ultimately.
well, that too. Go ahead, Philip Lindsay. You gotta mute yourself, Philip. You gotta mute yourself.
I just lost down. I have to come back in. I have to come back in.
Okay.
We hear you now.
I have to come back in.
I don't think you can hear us though. All right, go ahead. Go ahead, Al.
Yeah, Dynast. How you doing, bro? You good?
Good. Go ahead.
Yeah. What I was gonna say is basically, it's not easy, traveling for the first time, especially, to Africa, because I know, Black brothers in the UK that are born here themselves, they find it difficult. But once you leave, your comfort zone,
mm-hmm.
From then on, it's like a totally different life experience, and I recommend people try it.
I would love to try it. I would love to definitely, experience that culture shock and kind of go somewhere and just check it out. I feel like it's
yeah.
I'm biased because I haven't, so I can't really speak on it. I'm sure I'd have a good time.
I totally understand, because like a lady that I work with at the moment, she's getting on now, but she's an English lady, never traveled hardly. She managed to go to the Gambia, and she just came back, and she told me that she bought a land in the Gambia, and I was like, wow. And that's a white lady.
She said, "I'm coming back here."
Yeah, she did. She's like, I bought a land, I'm gonna build a house over there, and I thought, wow. And that's a white English person that hardly left the city where I live, not alone traveling. And when I asked her, why did you decide that? She's like, the flight from the UK to Gambia is really short. So this is how people looking at it. And for example, in the UK, since we left the EU, a lot of British people tend to be going outside the European Union to look, for different opportunities.
Yeah, I literally am like a weirdo. I literally think there's a formula. I just study this system, and I think there's a formula that will just banish all that and unify us. And it'll happen when it happens. But I feel like it's common sense is going to win at a certain point, because you're not going to swallow the whole world up.
No,
here in America, common sense is not going to win.
Yeah, not a majority of the public negative, but even if you think about politics, like the gray, the middle, not the right, not the fringes, a majority of people agree on just common sense shit.
No, I mean, no, but they don't. They might agree on that, but their actions say otherwise.
Well, they use the media to only allow the fringes to speak. And then
it's not even the fringes. A lot of these people are buying into this shit.
Yeah, because they're miseducated. That's why it's propaganda. If they knew better, they wouldn't be, programmed by it.
True. Guys, do me a favor, hit the like button. If you're in the chat room, if you have not hit the like button, do me a favor and hit the like button. Go ahead, Go Black.
What's up, Dynast, man? What's good? Washington Post just posted this yesterday. The case for leaving America to escape racism. And they brought up a lot of YouTubers and those who are sending the message out to the people of how Africa is. They mentioned my channel. Thank you very much.
That's
right.
But
I was definitely I was thankful that they have an acknowledgement that we are leaving out of a comfort zone to enter into different countries. This specifically mentions about Africa. I believe, that everybody should get out there and explore the world. I've said it before. It ain't got to be Africa. Many are going to Mexico. Many are going to the Caribbean. Many are going to South America. And I hear Will steal my beats. That fear sometimes of leaving. People have this. I've said it before. This allegiance to America, and it's only because it's been ingrained. So when you were a child and, they have you stand before the American flag and say, I pledge allegiance to the flag. Mm-hmm. When they have you recite, all the different songs that, that
this land is your land.
Yeah.
This land is your land.
Yeah. Just not legal status, but, it's like it's both ours, like Debo's bike and shit.
You do that. You make you feel comfortable, like you're part of this country, but really, truly, you're not. You're actually helping them to, to destroy yourself.
Exactly. That's why I say the internet was this generation's gunpowder, and people haven't completely applied it yet.
Go ahead, Wendy.
Go Black. You glitching out. You sound like Megatron down there.
Yeah, you're glitching up. Go Black. Go ahead, Wendy.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to say. Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me?
Okay. Are you in your bathroom somewhere?
No, sorry, but it is a kind of an empty room.
You got that good reverb.
I just want to say that I think everybody, and I had a meeting last night because I've started to relocate. I've actually already gone to begin the whole process in Gambia, and I just had to come back here to the States to do some things that were left undone, but. I was talking to people who were interested in the relocation process and the repatriation process. And I think that I've been going back and forth to Africa for 30 years now. And I can tell you that as a Black person, and you might have this experience, Dynast and Go Black, Africa feels different to me than to go and visit other. I've been to Europe, I've been to South America, I've been to the Caribbean even. Africa is different. Africa feels different. Africa calls. If you have a certain kind of spirit, Africa's going to call you. It's like your people are calling you home. If you don't go and see and try, you will never experience that in your life. And we're my family's foundational Black American, if that's what it's called or whatever. We've been here for a good long time. And we.
Whoa, hold on, Wendy. Are you running? Are you running away? Are you running?
We all talking about it, right? Escaping.
Are you escaping? Are you running? Hold on, Wendy. You're not fighting back. You're not gonna fight back.
That's what I'm talking about.
I've been fighting for a long time. We've been fighting for a long time. But the other thing that we've been doing is investing in America in one way or another. When we go work for other people in America, we're basically shoring up America. I don't know how many more productive years I have left because, I'm 50s. So my thing is, I would love to be able to do the same for Africa. We need to build Africa now. Here's the thing. We can talk about fighting, and my people have been in that fight for generations, been in that fight. Mm-hmm. Where are we? You can go back and you can find people, you can find writings from Black African Americans from the 1800s where they complain about the same exact things we're still complaining about today. Wow. And it's not to say that our situation hasn't changed since emancipation, but we are not free.
Violence is the only language they respect. That's why. And we are a peaceful people, and we're not trying to flip the whole table like that and sabotage our own life. I'm sure I'm not the only one that's willing to, but it's like it's a collective understanding, and it's like I understand. I understand exactly what you're saying.
What you're feeling, I'm not saying it's not legitimate. I think it is. The only thing that I would say to you, as having somebody even in my family people who felt like you, and then when they got and they thought they would, some people thought they wouldn't like Africa, because I love Africa from the very beginning.
I'm sure I'd love it. I love it.
My parents and my dad, I didn't think he would ever, he barely left America. So when he came to Africa, he loved it. And that's what I'm saying. If you're on the fence or you're just even trying to figure out, Dynast was talking about options. Don't shut down your options before you know what they are. You don't.
Okay. I co-sign that. I'm not opposed to it. I'm just like, I believe there's power, influence, proximity to leverage. There's a debt. There's a lot of reasons why us in the U.S. got some smoke. We got a lot of smoke.
You know what, Steal My Beats? You stay here. You be the back people who keep it together for us over here. We'll be the folks who have a place for you over there.
And set up trade. Keep in touch. Set up some. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, we're never, Marcus Garvey said not everybody's going to be for it. No, not everybody should return to Africa. And there are people who just don't want to. And it's not just because they're not fit to return. Some people will just never want to. And I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I'm not giving up my U.S. citizenship. I intend to vote. One of the reasons why I want to continue to vote is because I know that I will always have people here who will need my vote one way or another. I'm going to have to, if I don't vote, I feel like I'm abandoning them in that regard. So I don't have a problem with that. My thing is, we need to open our minds to at least visiting Africa, to see what Africa is, to understand, to try to get a picture for ourselves of what Africa is. Because from the time that we're born in this country, we're fed crap about Africa.
Yeah.
And it's just not true. And
about ourselves too.
By ourselves. We are some of the worst people. I have friends here who are African who tell me the terrible things that other African Americans say to them. Terrible things.
Yeah, I feel like there's bad people everywhere. We're not really stigmatized people. Like we see it because they're, FBAs, we roast people until you get the point, So like, did you see they put the definition for tether in Urban Dictionary? And it's like, it's a flawless victory too. I feel like anybody who is offended by that word ever, it was like Urban Dictionary, because it's not an insult. It's just a slang. Like, it's like picking on the little brother.
We've done so much already, and here's the other issue: we have done so much. Those of us who have been here for a very long time, fighting and creating and making do and making a way when there's no way. That's the way I feel about it. So I'm with you on that, Steal My Beats. But imagine if we put some of that energy towards Africa, working with our brothers and sisters who are over there.
Yeah, just unity in general without all the divisions.
Mm-hmm. So that's all I'm saying. I agree 100% with what Dynast is saying, that we need to open up our minds to receiving, information about the options that are available to us. And I, in particular, we can talk about Mexico.
Hey, one second, Al. You have a lot of feedback. That's why I keep muting you, Al. There's some feedback.
Yeah, sorry, my little one is on the telly. I'm gonna have to move. Sorry, mate. Sorry.
Okay.
Or just go on mute. Yeah, I can go on mute too. I don't know if you hear me.
No, you're good. It was Al, but Philip Lindsay, go ahead, Philip. Unmute yourself.
Hey, Dynast, thanks for having me on, man.
No problem.
One of the most distracting YouTube shows out there, brother. I love your show.
Appreciate it.
And salute to the panel, Steal My Beats, Al and Wendy. This is one of my topics for the last 2 days. Me and a bunch of Black attorneys have been debating about the reparations. I think I sent you, Dynast, the Law Review article I've been citing to, before, and just what the real situation is. I'm not, because we're talking about expatriation, but I think it's relevant to bring that up. And I literally have been texting back and forth with other fellow Black attorneys about the situation. So, Dynast, if you would do me a favor, I texted you 2 pages, the front 2 pages from the Citigroup memo. Can you put that on the screen? Because I don't think that Black Americans. Wait, I can't hear you, brother. You're muted.
My bad. I'll say it'll be easier if you put it in the private chat. Can you put it in the private chat? And then
It's harder for me to do it because it's from a PDF. So I just screenshot the first 2 pages.
Okay.
While you're working on that, here's the bottom line. For an American retirement right now, for 2 people, it's $2.5 million with no health issues.
Wow.
If you have health issues, now it's more because we have private insurance. If you go on Medicare, it only covers 80%. So people like my parents, they have to buy Medicare supplement, which is private insurance to cover what Medicare doesn't cover. And if you get really sick, like I had an uncle, a great uncle, was my great aunt's husband, and he had surgery to remove 2 of his vertebrae. So he needed this pain medication, and it was $1,000 per 60 tablets on a fixed income.
They've been robbing us, bro.
but I'm trying to say, we got to see the reality where we are. If you want to know how much money you need for retirement, and everybody listening to this show should do this, take your income now and multiply it times 20. That's what you need. If you aren't anywhere close to that, then you really need to look at potentially Africa and anywhere else that's less expensive, because you need to make up that money in currency.
What? I'm confused. I'm confused.
What are you confused about?
Well, I mean, a retirement, basically. You're saying to retire, that's what you need, basically?
Yeah.
Just with property value. See, like, I'm waiting for a reset.
No, brother, it ain't gonna happen.
It ain't coming. It ain't coming. Listen, let me do this. Listen, this dream, this wet dream that people, hey man, I missed out in 2008 when they was in my neighborhood, they were selling houses for $5,000 and $8,000. It's not coming.
Like, no, bro. I strongly disagree with that, and I understand it's a radical position.
I'm gonna tell you why it's not coming. Because now you have like Citigroup, you got BlackRock. Now you have these big corporate institutions.
Yes.
Listen, you come. Hey man, I got $8,000. BlackRock was like, I give you $500,000. Okay.
Yeah, they overpriced everybody because they're trying to buy Crenshaw Mall out here, and they had the highest bid, and they still didn't give it to them because it was, black folk.
And also
after one of the biggest landowners.
After the 2008 crash in the UK, for example, they have included like housing in as part of the economy. So a house price, the value of a house price is actually part of the economy. Basically, they never used to be like that, so they can never let that go down.
My bad. Philip, are you a lawyer?
I am.
Okay. See, like, because I have very I believe that there is a legal way to be as extreme as you want.
What?
In our position. Meaning, I don't know. Who discovered America, right?
Huh?
You discovered a place, right? Christopher Columbus, you came over here and you figured it out, right? I feel like that's eventually what society will have to do when what they're setting us up for is going to happen. What are they going to end the Fed or something having to do with our currency? It's already tanking. And at the same time, it's going to be like, I see it happening legally too. And even in our position as Black Americans, like claiming sovereignty, international crime court, or I know because of the Rome Statute, you can't prosecute us for genocide, crimes against humanity. That's the legal thing that we're not a part of as far as the global community that allows us to not be persecuted for that. But just recently, the UN said they're guilty of 5 charges of genocide. Remember, or did you hear about that?
I do recall something about it.
So I'm saying, isn't there a legal framework?
I'm glad that you're on here, Steal My Beats, because you are the person that we need to talk to. Dynast, thank you for putting that up. And
my bad. I had lost it. Hold on, let me put it back up. Hold on.
And to highlight, I had a section in there highlighted. So this report, this is for what they call sophisticated investors. It was written in 2005. But what this is for people that have high-end investment. This is what they're predicting is going to happen in the American economy. This is, you can see it's a Citigroup private report that they send out. I don't know if Dynast can highlight it, to enlarge it so that people can read that highlighted part. But the point is, the people who have money, they're going off of this kind of stuff, not what a lot of Black people are theorizing. They actually have gamed it out, and I don't know. Can people read that?
Yeah, I gotta listen or read at the same time.
You can't read it.
No.
I'm trying to blow it up, make it bigger.
Okay.
I'll read it.
What
too.
what I'll have to do is maybe email it to Dynas, the full report.
Plutonomy.
Yeah.
The world is dividing into two blocks. Yeah.
Go ahead and read it.
Plutonomies, where economic growth. Go back to where you were. It was better. Yeah. Economic growth is powered by and largely consumed by the wealthy few and the rest. Plutonomies have occurred before in 16th century Spain, in 17th century Holland, and Gilded Age, and the Roaring 20s in the U.S. What are some of the drivers of plutonomy? Disruptive technology, yeah, blockchain, driven productivity gains, yeah, AI. They're going to automate everything. They replaced all the jobs, everything, yeah. I believe that. And
go to the second
those people
paragraph.
can't rule the world. What are you going to go to an island? Where are you going to be safe?
Go to the second paragraph where it's highlighted. Just that little highlighted part.
That's what I just read.
All right, I can't. Okay.
Yeah, the yellow part. Yeah, the world is divided into two blocks. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's
Exactly.
the old world order, or the liberal world order, and then you have your BRICS, which Russia's spearheading right now.
Exactly. So here's the bottom line. If you are a property or a stakeholder now, you're not going to allow a reset because you're winning. Here's the game that Black people were put into, and that was intergenerational wealth. When Roosevelt came forward with the New Deal, and he came up with the Fair Housing Act.
Homestead Act.
The Homestead's earlier. That's a whole other thing.
But that's the one they gave away like half the country.
Yes, from the native.
And that was ours. That was supposed to be ours.
Well, it's supposed to be and what is are two different things. But I understand your point. I'm just talking about in the modern age, in the 20th century. Those FHA loans.
When you say it's supposed to be, when you say it's supposed to be ours, who's
it's in my blood?
Well,
that's what I'm saying. I don't know if you guys are from here or whatever, like, or what your attachment is, but I feel it like in my blood. Like that's injustice. It's not even for me, but for our people. You get what I'm saying?
Of course.
That's same with Africa.
That's
Africa.
That's a whole different topic about the Homestead Act, Dynas. I would have to come back on and explain what went on there. It's a whole different thing. I'm just talking about the modern age, where we are, and expat, which is this.
Right.
That people that got those GI Bill loans, of which most Black people could not take advantage of, even if they served, that they got those homes at $10,000 and $15,000 in the 30s and 40s, like Levittown. Those homes had covenants in them that said this is never to be titled to a African American, Black American, person of African descent. They couldn't sell them to them.
Or the civilized tribes, the OGs.
That's what Raisin in the Sun was about. It's based on a case that Lorraine Hansberry's father participated in called Hansberry versus Lee. Raisin in the Sun was really kind of a readaptation of her dad's story of suing to try to get one of these covenants removed. You can look it up.
Chicago South Side. I'm on it. Yeah.
Okay.
I never heard of that.
Here's the point. That Levittown house now is worth $500,000, $600,000. They bought it for $15,000. When most African Americans could buy after the Fair Housing Act in 1968, those horses had already left the barn.
Yep.
So when they were buying, they were already buying at the inflated rate, which arguably were our grandparents from 1950 to 1970, say. 1972, the economy that Black Americans depended on, which was the factory work, most of the homes that were bought by our grandparents were bought by factory workers, left. And then that is when the Black male and Black female issues started arising about Black families. Martin Luther King and Malcolm X were supported by small Black businesses. That's who paid for them when they were doing the Civil Rights Act. After 1972,
that's who paid for them?
Small Black American businesses.
Gotcha.
That's who funded civil rights primarily. There were some rich people but it was mainly across the nation, Black American small businesses. Those businesses disappeared. Okay. I don't want to
Yeah,
get
the same
far
thing
off.
they're doing now. What they're doing with AI, the same thing they did to us back then.
I don't want to get too far off topic. So here's what I'm saying. I've lived abroad. I lived in Mexico for a period of time after college. I lived there. You can live there very inexpensively. You know, depending on where you were. I was just outside of Mexico City, and I was there in 1992, 1993, teaching. And I am trying to remember how much my apartment was at that time. It was something on the order of $300 or $400 a month, something like that. But
like half.
I wish that Go Black to Africa would come back, because he's been going around in Africa buying places and really could add something to the conversation about buying. I know Dynas has been involved in this and is going to get back into it. But
not only houses, even land in Africa. If you buy land in 2 years' time, you go back, that land. I know people that bought land for $1,000 in Sierra Leone about a few years ago, and today that area alone, this is just about 5 years ago, in that area, you're not gonna get one for less than 10,000. So
that's not
yeah,
bad.
no, I mean, and this is real talk. I mean, so here is the bottom line. Not every African American, Black American is going to be able to go, but those that have the means need to have a conversation with their family to try to see what they can pull together to get an asset for the family should this situation in the United States go sideways.
Just to hold on to.
Should this plutonomy get close to sucking you down the drain? That is the reality. The economics that we are entered into are extremely dire. We've got, I would imagine, about 5 years to get our act together. And if we don't, then we will be permanent consumers. That's what we are. We are an insurance policy for free labor and for consumption for Mzungu businesses. That is the reality.
But if we all put our money together, it would be different. We could change it.
Can I
we put our money with our families. Our families first. If you don't,
but I'm asking, it's another remedy. I heard you, Wendy, too. I had a question.
I didn't hear Wendy. Go ahead.
I was just saying, do you agree that if just Black Americans put their money together like it was a family, it could also fix it? Because Black Americans are still wealthy compared to the rest of the world.
It's still my beats. We're past that point now. Like, it's not gonna happen. Like, I mean, listen, we've had John Henrik Clark, Claude Anderson, Amos Wilson. Like, no one wants to listen.
Nobody with the internet. The internet is this generation's gunpowder.
Well, it just that Claude Anderson, if you listen to him now, how frustrated he is. He went around the country for decades begging Black people to develop an economy within themselves and to structure themselves. And nobody listened. We didn't do it. And there are a lot of reasons why we didn't do it, but we didn't do it. And so now you've got a situation, you know, Dynas was yesterday on the parties, you know, on the two parties and who should do what. Look, in the United States, and I'm basing this, I worked in Washington, D.C. twice. Each one of those people, if you're in a House seat, you got to raise $30,000 a day to maintain that House seat. If you're in a Senate seat, you got to raise $60,000 a day to stay in that Senate seat. So if you're an average Joe trying to affect change on that process and you're not donating money and money on the order of what they need, you've got no voice. I'm sorry to tell you, you don't. Now, in the 60s and 50s and 40s, Black Americans had a voice because they dominated two areas of the economy. They dominated agricultural labor and they dominated domestic labor. You know, all of these movies about the help and about the sharecropping, we dominated that. They could shut down the economy. But now we can't because of immigration, because of how the technology has rejiggered. We
This is just like in a box, though. Like
We've
it's
got to.
all
Well, you're in a box.
box.
If you're in a box, if you take the frame that I'm going to start anew this generation and try to rebuild this, when Claude Anderson had been telling you for 30 years, hey, we need circular economics. We need our dollars to bounce within our community at least 10 times. We're going to build that now with chicken shacks and rib joints and dry cleaners. Come on.
We still have our spending power is still trumping most of all the other countries in the world. Still,
every dollar we earn, we spend it within 24 hours.
I know, but I'm
just in the Black community within 24 hours of receiving a paycheck. Yeah. Do we understand what that means? We make money and we're a pass through right back to the institutions we're dependent on for our housing, for our food. This is.
Can I just say, I want to just circle back on what you were saying, Philip, also just for people who are listening about like the cost of living.
Yeah.
Because the one thing is like I have, here in the United States, even if you pay off your mortgage, you're still going to be paying taxes. And some places, like up in the Northeast, I don't know about, Georgia, but potentially California, also these places where we live, that can get really pricey. So even if you're not paying your mortgage, you may be paying $1,000 a month in real estate taxes to the municipality where you live, and that's never going to go away. You're not going to have expenses like that if you buy a house or build a house in Africa. It's not going to happen. You could rent a house in Africa, and in the Gambia at least, it's still much less expensive, way less expensive than it is here in the United States. But also, Philip was talking about like medication and insurance and stuff. I just want you to know, one of the reasons why I was ready to was because I was afraid that I was going to become a hostage to my medical care in the United States. Like I get to the point where I can't leave because I'm so dependent on the medical care that I receive that I just don't have a choice to leave. So I have people who I know who are like, I want to travel, but I can't because the medicine is the other. Let me tell you something also. You can get a lot of medications you can get in Africa, and they're cheaper than they are here. So there are some that's already there, and then you can find pharmacies that would be willing to get it for you, to order it for you. And if you have an interest and you have a specific concern about specific medications, you can check to see if you can get those medications. And I'm almost certain that it's going to be cheaper. My husband is on some expensive medications in the United States. It was one that was like $600 a month. Okay. And we get it there for like $100. Okay. So it really is a financial proposition. Plus you're going to be eating better food. You're going to be breathing better air. We are, one of the things that I found out during COVID was I began to like smell the air more than I had before. And there's so much pollution in there. I drove from North Carolina to New York, and in each state, the air smelled different. By the time you get to New Jersey is like almost repulsive, the smell of the air in New Jersey. It just stinks. Okay. And I realized, I said, we don't really smell it when we're there. But this is what is making us sick as well, right? And you can't get away from it because you have to breathe. So the United States, in so many ways, when you think about it, I think that what Philip said about pooling your resources, because it can be an issue. You want to get some money together to buy like a compound that will have enough space to put like maybe 3 families in it, three small houses or something, or whatever. You can do that. Send somebody who's maybe on their way to being retired. That retired person's money is going to go way further in Africa than it ever would in the United States. I work with people who are in their 70s who are still working because they could not stop working. And I'm talking about attorneys. I'm an attorney like Philip, and I'm talking about attorneys who could not stop working because they needed the money at 70-something years old. So
that's real talk, Wendy. I didn't know you were
to let people know. You need to consider this information as well when you're thinking about options. Somebody like Steal My Beats, who sounds like a young person, he's not there yet. But I think I really support your suggestion, Philip, that maybe families need to just pool resources and say, here, everybody put some money together. and let's see what we can do and invest in Africa or wherever, but someplace else other than America, because you will literally like work until you die in America.
I wanted to drop one thing. I see my man Go Black to Africa is back. Welcome, brother. He has been doing awesome work, dropping dimes about this property. And I'm not the scholar on this or any of the people that are here. Welcome, Jody, James. That I just wanted to bounce my little thing. I got to go back to work. But to Wendy's point, I've been working 80-hour weeks for months. And this is not sustainable. I'm just trying to tell folk, if attorneys and accountants and doctors are doing this, then you got to think about your regular everyday worker. The average Black American income is around $37,000 a year. How are you going to retire? How are you going to have any assets? It's just a real thing. So, Dynast, thank you for having me on. I appreciate you, and I'll listen offline.
I appreciate it. Jody James, go ahead, and we'll pass it to Go Black. Go ahead, Jody.
Hey, how's everybody doing today?
Doing well.
Fine, thank you.
All right.
Chilling.
So I want to tie two things together. Someone said on the panel that the American dollar is dying. It is not. It's very strong. You look at a chart and see the
fake comeback right now. I synced it.
Say again.
I said a fake comeback. It's just, it has no value. It's not backed by gold. The petrodollar, the ruble is trumping that. But you are correct. Right now,
it's only because the pound is falling down because of some stupid decision. But that's the only reason why the dollar is going up. But that's one of the days.
Green paper with slave masters' faces on it.
Oh wow.
Okay, go ahead, Jody. Okay. Go ahead, Jody.
So the dollar been going up since 2008. That's about 14 years. So it's not nothing recent. And other currencies in the world are going down versus the dollar. So to tie that into the conversation, if a person in America were to take that strong dollar to another country, and in particular to the African continent, then their dollar would go a long way. The dollar is gaining, the dollar is gaining versus the South African rand. The dollar is gaining versus the Tanzania currency versus Ghana currency. The dollar is going strong. So, like the people Joe was saying, if you take that money, the median American income is around $35,000. If you were to take that money to an African country, then yes, that dollar will, that income will go much further than if you were to live in New Jersey, New York, or any other United States state. So I do agree with that. As far as why the dollar's going up, as far as any other esoteric reasoning of, oh, it's just green paper, I'm a technical trader. I'm a technical analyst. I'm an Elliott Wave theory trader. The dollar's been going up. The dollar's very strong. The dollar's not going to go down in anytime soon. That's in the next 2, 3, 5 years. So if a person can, yes, I'm just saying it from a technical standpoint.
Yeah, I ain't doubting you. I wouldn't think that. I mean, I mess with crypto, but the dollar, it's when you have programmable money and we're living in a day where technology is doing what it's doing. Naturally, I don't feel like it's going to be, it's going to hold its, but you probably know more than me.
Okay. So with that, and with that said, if a person can take their income to an African country, yes, their cost of living will be smaller and that dollar will go a much longer way compared to living in the United States.
I'm not sure about that because, when they put inflation in there, I'm not sure. Because, things always get expensive in Africa. Anytime the dollar rises, food price goes up and other stuff.
So there's a different way you can say that inflation. At what level is that going up? So in America, if a pack of free range chicken is $10 and it goes to $20, then the base of the inflation went up from $10. At what base did the inflation go up in 100%. That specific African country? So if it goes from, let's say that same chicken costs less than $10, but it goes up to $10, you're still coming out on top because the base in which the inflation went up from.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. In
So
Africa,
Yeah,
it
that
costs
might make
less.
sense a
so
little
yeah,
bit.
hold on. So you just can't say nakedly inflation. There's a lot of nuance that goes into that.
Yeah. Depends. Some countries, I mean, for what the dollar will get you,
Right.
it depend on that time.
Another example, the dollar has been crushing the euro and the pound. The euro has been
Yes,
falling.
that's true. That's what I said earlier, and someone said I was lying, but there you go.
So the euro is not nothing new. The euro has been falling versus the dollar since 2008.
The pound is falling.
Yeah. So the euro is an inverse of the Dixie. It's been falling since 2008. $1 gets you 96 euros. The pound 2 years ago, the pound $1 would get 1 pound would get you $1.14 in America, but now it'll get you $1.06. The dollar has been going around clubbing currencies around the world. So yes,
You printing them shits.
No, stop.
Got that printer on.
Okay, let's not go into the why the spooky metaphor.
Yeah, we ain't gotta.
stuff.
Yeah, we ain't gotta go into. I was
It
just
it is what it is.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
All right, let me go ahead, go Black. You gotta mute yourself.
All right. I think it was Philip that you had put. He had put the thing on the equity of property and stuff like that. Yeah, I've been saying this for the longest. I mean, the U.S. dollar is strong. The U.S. dollar is not going anywhere. These guys who own everything, who has their money banked on the U.S. dollar. The other countries are banked on the U.S. dollar. Oil is traded by the U.S. dollar. There are economies banked on the U.S. dollar. This dollar here has its ups and downs, and it's probably the strongest than it's been in a while. And here in Africa, it's very strong. And like our sister who was on a little earlier when she was sharing that, as far as property is concerned, people should invest, diversify the portfolio in other places outside of America. Bank of America just came out with this community loan thing, that they're claiming that they're going to, they're introducing this community affordable loan solution. And this is to expand the home ownership opportunities in Black, African Americans, and Hispanic, Latino communities. Let me tell y'all something. I've been around 56 years. I like to say that, but because I've been around the block several times to see how the system works. It ain't because that Bank of America just has an epiphany that they want to help Black people and Latino people. There's a system in place that knows statistically the failures of Black people and Latinos, where they're sitting by the wayside when these properties that will be purchased, they come along, purchase it for lower than they were sold for when they fall out or repossess the housing, and then they turn around and gain more money. This is just a game. This ain't a favor the system wants to do for you. When I was in the military, we were told any offer the military gives you, you do not take it. It's not to benefit the troop, it's to benefit the government. And we have to realize that sometimes there are programs that are in place that is not necessarily meant for you to take. We used to say back in the day, all money is not good money. Every opportunity is a good opportunity. So we have to realize that we have to put the power in our own hands. Yes, I've purchased 3 properties thus far and intend on buying more in Africa.
That's right.
Why? Because Africa is the now. It ain't the future. You wait on the future, you too late. I bought a property in Ghana and already I got 40,000 equity, and I bought that just in February, March, I think it is. 2 properties I bought over in Tanzania. Each one of them have gained $40,000 each in equity. Now you tell me what bank that is going to give you the interest by you sitting your money in the bank and getting a return like that. Now, people want to argue or say, well, stay here in America. You should stay, don't leave. Well, take your hard-earned dollar where the dollar is weak. The dollar is weak in America because of the inflation. Ghana right now, Just a year ago, Ghana CD for an exchange for the US dollar was like 5.26, I think it was, for $1 US. Do you know what it is now? For $1, I get 10.3
Damn.
CDs per dollar. Now,
Strong.
yes, inflation has gone up for the local people, but not at the
Yeah,
rate
what's
of
that
the
mean though?
for the CDs.
Yeah.
The other benefit of it is that property is sold at the US dollar. They ain't sold in CDs. So as long as that dollar stays strong, I'm always going to get my return back on my investment.
It's interesting.
Preach.
So I think we need
Yeah.
to wake up, like our sister said, is that we need to have a family reunion and have some serious talk about how do we take our little money that we have, put it together, and somebody goes elsewhere to purchase something that they can enjoy and be part of it, live in, or what have you, not resell it, but have
Yeah,
it
the
for the
kids.
family.
Yeah,
Donnie's
next
been saying,
generation.
like Donnie's been saying, is that, diversify. Nothing says that you got to leave forever America if you want to stay in America. Nothing says that you have to give up an American passport. You think I'm going to give up my American passport when I can
No.
freely walk in probably 95% of the countries without being looked upon because of other nations or countries are looked down as a threat or being a terrorist or what have you? No, be smart in what you do. If you want to hold on to being an allegiance to America, well, you fall then when the economy will have a strong effect on those poor people when others who
Mostly
have
us.
will be able to keep afloat of the rising prices that we see today. That the interest rate is
Yeah.
at 6.5% for purchasing a house when it was just a year ago at 2 point something. That's an additional $800 a month. But what most people don't realize is that additional $800 a month plus the increase in your taxes for the property taxes will squeeze you out eventually out of the payments that you have when the inflation, the cost of food is going up, electric is going up, clothing is going up, everything is going up. And if you don't know how to budget your money, you don't know how to finances, believe me, that beautiful house that you bought, you will be giving up.
May I tag on to what Go Black just said? So it's
And
nice to meet you, Go Black. I appreciate it.
You too,
What
brother.
you just said.
and
So
also sorry, what Go Black was saying, like for example, where like Dynasty, you go to Sierra Leone, right? You see Freetown, the houses over there are so cheap to build, and most of the properties in Freetown are rented in US dollars. So if you basically own a property, like for example, a commercial property on one of the roads in Freetown, like on Kissy Road, for example, you can actually get like $5,000, a year, or probably more than that, and it's probably going to cost you like about $30,000 to $40,000 to build one. So
Not the same, right?
you're not going to lose. You're not going to lose. You're always going to make money.
so like I just want to piggyback on what Go Black said before people forget what he said. It's everything I say is from a technical standpoint, a technical analysis standpoint, and it's my belief from a technical standpoint that excuse me, many Americans are going to be forced to have to move outside the American border. So
Listen, Jody. I've been saying that, Jody. I've
yeah.
been saying. Go ahead.
Now this is my thesis. What Go Black just said. Yes, about 2 years ago, the USMR or the United States mortgage rate was about 2%. Now it's at 6.5%. That's nowhere. If you person will look on a chart for USMR, there's nowhere on a chart where that increase, that dramatic increase, there's nowhere on a chart of such a dramatic increase. Now the Federal Reserve have been raising rates. The Fed funds rate. I don't know if people know what the Fed funds rate is, but the Fed funds rate is the rate in which banks borrow money from each other. So about 2 years ago, it was less than 1%. Now it's at 2.33%. So, and what that means is if banks charge each other 2.33% to borrow money from each other, they're going to charge you more than that. So that's the basis. They're going to charge you more for that, for your mortgage, for your car note, for your personal loan, for your credit card, for any other thing. So essentially, it costs more money to borrow money. It always costs more money to service debt, as people would say. And on top of that, the credit card interest, that's adjustable. I think every quarter. If I'm wrong, someone correct me, but every quarter it's adjustable. So Chairman Powell said that they want to get rates up to 4%, at least 4%. It's in my opinion, rates. If you look at the chart, the Fed's want the rate. If a 50% retracement is common on a chart. So if that's the case, I think it's my belief the federal funds rate can get up to between 7 and 9%. It can at least get up to 5.46%, but it's in my opinion that it can get up to 7 to 9%. So, like I just said, the federal funds rate is what banks charge each other to borrow money. So, if the Fed funds rate is 7 to 9%, then that means the mortgage rate is going to be above 7 to 9%. The rate you get that car loan is going to be above that. Your credit card debt, your personal loan. So, yes, housing prices can go down. So, let's say a house costs $400,000. I think that's the median per the Federal Reserve, the Fed statistics. That's the median, $400,000. Well, $400,000 with a 2% interest, that's affordable for some people. But $400,000 with a 10% interest, that's unaffordable for the same group of people that would buy that car or that house. So the price has to come down. But still, you're paying 10% on a more, at least 10%. You can pay up to 13% on a mortgage rate. So a lot of people are not going to be able to purchase a house. So a lot of people are with that median American income of $35,000. So a lot of people are going to be forced to go somewhere either cheaper in America, such as Mississippi, Alabama, or just go outside the borders.
Listen, Jody, I was looking at properties in Jackson and in Birmingham. They going up.
See? And that's unsustainable.
Right.
So
I'll
a
say
lot of
this
people
right
are going to be forced to look outside because, like I said, the dollar. I don't think the dollar is going down anytime soon. So now you have a situation where, hey, you're receiving. Hopefully, you keep receiving American income and move overseas to a place where the dollar is just beating up that currency. Case in point, the real South Africa. When they came to South Africa, the dollar versus the rand was at 13.15. Now it's at 20, and I think it's gonna go up more in terms of a favor to them. So now their dollar, what they're earning is going to be stronger, and people that go outside of America keep that dollar. Their purchasing power is just going to remain strong for the foreseeable future.
I'll say this right here too. You know, the big industries who got into the housing market about 3-4 years ago, I mean, they went and just absorbed so much properties. And it was a huge move that they did to really remove the small man out of buying rental properties to be able to rent out. Because these are big investment companies
Just gonna
who
let
are
these
out.
people punk us forever?
Well,
Yes,
this company
yes.
I'm anti that.
It kept going on for years.
I'm ready for the smoke.
Hold on. Let Go Black finish, please. Let him finish. He's
Yeah.
out of this.
So you know, it's the housing inventory, which will get smaller and smaller and smaller on affordability because these companies know they can sit on these properties and they can go ahead and push out there which properties they want to go sell to make their high dollar profit. You know, that's why we see that many people are renting apartments or renting ridiculous cost for housing, because these are not individuals who are renting out properties. These are companies now that are in the game. You know, my brother, I mean, I laughed at him, but I get a little bit what he said. He bought him an RV to go ahead. He said, man, I'm that $1,300, man, paying for rent. He bought him an RV. He lives in an RV, you know, place. But this is the extent where people are going. My own brother bought an RV to live in. And as comical as it sounds, this is real what's going on.
Yep.
And most people don't see it. I read here in the chat somebody saying, you know, oh, quit trying to scare. There's nobody scaring.
No,
This
this
is
is
dab
reality.
in your face, showing you the severity of what this economy is doing, and it's squeezing people. And if we look at the homelessness on
Mostly
the
us.
rise, people will need to wake up.
Yep. Yeah, in California, we're 6% of the population, but like 55% of the homeless. Like, it's our people because of that wealth divide, because of that, it's just particular people who are being kicked out, and then the drug side, you see a lot of white folks. But yeah, it's
I mean, I know African brothers that left Africa and go to America with that mindset and drive Uber. In 3 years, they build a mansion in Africa. You know. So
yeah, that's
you know
crazy.
what I mean?
Hey, my
So
cousin got an
if they
RV too.
If they can do that, how can African Americans that are born over there, can't afford to do that? Come on, man.
Yeah, I'll say we're not scaring anyone. This is just the reality. No one saw. Well, I don't say no one saw. A lot of people saw, but when the rates started to get increased from less than 1% to 2.33%, or the USMR or the United States mortgage rate go from 2% to 7, you could essentially say 7%. If we were talking that, oh, it's at 2%, and I say I think it's gonna go to 7%, that person or that people would have been saying, "You're trying to scare people." No, this is reality. This is what is coming down the pike. This is
Hyperinflation ain't even hit.
And that's something else. But yeah, so we're just discussing reality and trying to say, okay, if this is coming, how can we position ourselves to either sidestep this or not feel the full brunt of what's coming, So that's what we're trying to do. We're not trying to scare you. We're just trying to say, hey, this is an option. This is an option. Have you thought about this?
It's just a lot of our people don't want to deal with reality. That's just what it is. Hey, Jody, real quick, Jody, what are your thoughts on the bear market and how long that's going to last?
If people are saying I'm scaring people, we're scaring people now. If I have to say anything about that, people will be terrified.
No, I'm saying. I mean, hey, we're adults here. The people
I'll
are
put it like
scared.
this.
Whatever.
You say that. Yeah, you say. So I'll put it like this. The GFC, or the Great Financial Crisis, started in October 2007 and ended in March 2009, which was about a year and a half. From peak to trough, it declined 57% peak to trough. So far, and when I say it, I mean the S&P, mainly the S&P, but you can throw in the Dow too, the Dow Jones. The S&P and the Dow so far is down 22 to 27% from their peak, and the Dow peaked January 4th, the S&P peaked January 5th, and they're already down 20-something percent. Per economist, 20% decline is bear market territory. So those indexes are in bear market territory, but we're not in. You don't hear too much about that decline. So we're halfway there in terms of being compared to the GFC, or the Great Financial Crisis. The only thing
Hey, one second. Hey, Steamly, I'm muting you because there's a lot of background noise. I don't know if you have a fan playing on in the background, but go ahead, Jody.
So the only thing is we're declining from a higher level, from a taller floor. I think, again, everything I say is coming from a technical standpoint.
And y'all, this is not financial advice. This is not financial advice. Do your own research. Go ahead, Jody.
I think this thing can go, the market decline can go about 3 years, at least 3 years, in my opinion.
Yeah, I stopped looking at Vanguard for a long time. I can't remember the last time I logged in. It's just not nice, is it?
Because we're already down almost 30%. If you're talking about the NASDAQ or the Russell 2000, NASDAQ's almost 30%. And it's not, we're feeling the pain, but it's not a lot of pain being felt. If you look at oil and gas, in terms of the futures, oil, West Texas Intermediate. Can you still hear me clearly? I got the fan going in the background.
We hear you. Go ahead. We hear you.
And if you get gasoline futures, they're looking like they want to go back up. When you hear gasoline, think transportation, and when you hear oil, think energy. To make the product, gasoline is to take that main product and get it back to its destination. Those charts are looking like they want to go back up, so that can add on to or make inflation stay at the levels they are. And it's not going to be a soft landing, as Chair Powell said.
Okay. Let's pass it to go ahead, go Black, and then we'll pass it to Brandon.
No,
Go
I
ahead,
was
go
just
Black.
gonna say, I was look at time's getting so tight now. Jody ain't running that air conditioner; he running the fan.
Yeah, man, look, it's a lot of people are not prepared for it because there was no one living on this planet that remembers times that was so bad. So no one has the time frame, the human time frame, to say, "Oh, this is just like this." You wasn't living, so it's coming out of left field only because the human lifespan is so short. The last time something happened, so that was as painful as we're about to go through, no one was living, and
All right, go ahead.
it's going to catch a lot of people off guard.
Go ahead, Brandon.
Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm no economist, you know what I'm saying? I just look at things like at the bare bones, right? You talk about bear market, all this stuff. You know, our people don't really understand how this country works. I've been saying that probably since I was 25. Black people, we really don't understand. We're here, we exist here, but we don't really understand what's going on because we've been dependent so long. It's kind of like how your children don't really understand how poor you actually are. Like my daughter thinks I'm rich. I'm rich to her because every time she asks for something, she pretty much gets it, right? She doesn't know about the bills or anything like that. And that's how Black people look at America. America is the gift that keeps on. It's the ATM. Anything they got it. If they don't give it to us, it's because they don't want us to have it, not because maybe they just don't got it, right? Or whatever. So all this stuff is based on one thing. Everybody in this economy understands the reality. When things get tight, you have to kind of come together more to insulate yourself from basically getting wiped out. We're like I told somebody this morning, and you could quote me on this. Nobody ever said this. Somebody was like, "You're just a Republican sheep, a MAGA sheep." Somebody told me that this morning. I said, "Look, we're all sheep, but there's a huge difference between the sheep that are going to get sheared and the sheep that are going to get slaughtered."
I
That's
ain't
the
no
difference.
sheep, bro.
God, this boy right here.
Anyway, man.
There's a huge difference between the sheep that are going to get shaved and the sheep that are going to get slaughtered. And all you can do is work hard to make sure you're a sheep that's going to get sheared because it will grow back. What you lose, you can replace. And you got to make sure that you're not a sheep that's going to get slaughtered, which is the one that you ain't no coming back from that. You dinner, right? I live in California. Everything is going up. You have people who are lawyers, doctors, you name it. They literally have roommates. I see white people down here, 3 kids, and they're roommating or living in a house with another family with 2 or 3 kids to just ease some of the impact of the inflation and all that stuff. Understanding that this doesn't have to be a permanent situation. It could just be temporary while we save for a house or we're going to move out of state or whatever. Black people are still operating based on rugged individualism in a time when it is absolutely advantageous and imperative that we come together economically.
Agreed.
You still got hood rats talking about, yeah, I'm about to get my own place. Yeah, I'm about to go and get my own.
Hey, Brandon, your sound sounds kind of muffled. Like it's muffled.
Sorry, is it better?
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. So they're like, I'm gonna get my own. We're still operating based on individualism. And then we wonder why it's growing increasingly difficult for us to survive with this recent economic downturn. And so to go to Africa is totally unacceptable. I heard some guy out here say, we're gonna keep letting these people punk us, right? The one brother. Look, getting punked is staying in one spot while somebody's punching you in the jaw. Like if you look at like a chick who's a prostitute, she doesn't say, I'm gonna prove to the pimp that I don't want to hold no more by staying on the blade. She leaves that place and goes and makes a life for herself doing something else.
No, she
We're
takes
the
his
only,
life.
we're the only people, we're the only group of people who think that standing and getting screwed over by white supremacy is giving us some type of moral victory. There are no moral victories. If you're getting kicked, you're just getting kicked. You're not proving how tough you are. You're just going to end up getting beat down. You're just getting beat down. And that's what we need to learn. Go to Africa, build there. If you don't want to do that, at least practice group economics here. Put your ego in the trash can, because it will eventually be there anyway if you don't change the way you're operating and the way you're thinking. And that's all I want to say.
I agree. I co-sign that. That's facts.
Yeah, it'll be imperative for people to. You're going to see more and more multi-generational housing. You're going to see that because the economic environment dictates that that's what you need to do.
Everybody else gets it, but Willie Lynchism is the only reason we don't. That's the only reason, and that's why I say I acknowledge the enemy. I'm studying how it and the effects that it has on us. That's why we're divided. These are all systems that they've put in place, and they've attacked us generationally. And now we're at the the pinnacle, the climax of it, and a lot of people haven't put it together. But all of it's there, and I yeah, you're right. The economics, yeah, unfortunately, you have to lean into it. I think it's going to be bigger than that.
Still my beats. The mere fact that you know what Willie Lynchism is means you are responsible to not let it impact your life. Now, when black people didn't know, listen, but if people don't know, if people didn't know what that was, I would accept that as an excuse. But as Negroes been talking about what Willie Lynch for 75, 80, 100 years, to know something is there. If a car is coming directly towards you, and you get hit by it, and it's 100 feet away, and you stand there and let it hit you, whose fault is it? Your fault for sitting up there getting hit, or the driver's fault for continuing to try to hit your ass? That stuff is just, those points are mute. Willie Lynch is dead.
You're making it seem as if it's a car. It's impossible to stop. It's a defeatist attitude.
No.
I'm arguing we haven't stood up collectively.
Bro, but what you got to understand is most of your people do not want to stand up against this. You have to accept that all black people do not want to live a better life. They do not want to be liberated. I used to think like you when I was 20.
But I'm not even talking violence. I'm talking with like radical peace. I'm talking with good ideas.
With anything, bro. Do you realize there are a lot of people who are comfortable in this system, making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, who are like, why do I need to change anything? I'm doing well. When
There's
you
more
realize
people who are getting fucked by the system. Way more people who are getting fucked by the system and are sick of the system than there are.
But they don't feel. Listen, bro. The people who are getting fucked by the system are looking at the people who are not getting fucked by the system for direction. We just had Revolt Summit, where a bunch of millionaires told black people what we need to do to make economic progress in America. Well, how are they going to tell us? They're already rich, and
Because
they're
they
rich
did it.
off
They're
of our.
giving you the blueprint. They're
No,
putting you on game. They said, "Hey, this is how I did it." They're sharing their testimony.
Bro, listen.
Okay, hold on. See, you missed Pan Africanism's point. Okay. All right, like I'm not gonna go rap about selling dope in a trap.
Yeah,
me either. So you got cats coming on stage talking about, listen, this is the blueprint, but literally their blueprint is I sold dope in the trap. I shot and killed niggas. I smoked niggas. You know, I took the dope and cooked it up. Like
I get that.
I can't do nothing with that.
Yeah. That's not the advice we need to be. That's the blueprint that Zaddy gave them. That's the wrong blueprint, you know.
Listen, bro. He sold dope and got rich to where he could buy studio time and sign artists. But he's telling you go buy art because that's gonna appreciate and make you millions. Well, the art costs $1 million that you ain't got. These guys are just telling you things that are gonna keep you in purgatory, right? Because they benefit off of you staying there. It's like you empowering the horse that pulls your buggy, dude. It doesn't make sense to let them off the leash.
Yeah, I don't worship no celebrities. I don't watch sports. I don't make music like that. I don't listen to trash music. Like I don't. So I'm out of that whole system, and I've identified it. So I agree with what you're saying. I don't think everybody who has influence or can put you on game is negative. I think there's plenty of OGs and people who've done. We're learning from each other, you know. So it's not just maybe with music artists, but I believe that's what wisdom is for. That's what elders and OGs are for.
Yeah, I mean, there's some roadman out there that got roadman mentality that actually have done well for themselves.
OG as in
But
original gangster, or
majority of
OG as
them
in
just trying to destroy, the black communities, including in the
Mhm.
UK. You know what I mean? So, and this, to me, I actually see them worse as the racist white man. Because
Like
they
drill
actually
rap.
out,
Yeah.
yeah, they're actually out there for their own community, trying to destroy their communities, killing one another, stabbing
Selling
one
out.
another.
Because that's the only way they can get the bag.
Targeting their
Yeah.
own, targeting their own. You know, we have it in the UK, not only in America. Trust me, we got a lot of them over
It's
here.
worldwide.
Go ahead, gas them up. Go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, man? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so how you guys doing? Shout out to the panel. Yeah, no, I think this is a great thing. I think people have to start looking at the word globally, right? No one tells someone from Israel that they can't have business in New York City, on the west coast of California, and Israel, and Europe at the same time. So I think we have to start looking at business globally. I think we need to listen to people like shout out to him, Philip Lindsay, right, who's a lawyer based out on the West Coast. He gives excellent advice in reference to how Black people, whether you're in the diaspora or wherever you are, how we can pool our resources together. He gave an example of Nollywood. He gave an example of even though I don't necessarily like it, but I won't talk down on it today. But he gave an example of how the artists in America can re-record their music. That's one way of getting your masters back, and then releasing them with Nollywood soundtracks or on Afrobeat record labels, right? Even though, again, like I said, there are problems with that, but I don't want to get into it. So I think it's an excellent thing. I will say to people, hey, when you're going overseas, wherever you go, just temper your expectations. You understand? Don't go in there thinking, because it doesn't always run as smooth as it does in the United States per se. Dynas will tell you about the bank calls after he opens his account. All of a sudden they start calling you, Dynas.
Hold on, not get off topic. Not get off topic, but how do they get like that? That used to get on my nerves. How do they get your number though? Like, who gives them my number?
I'm telling you, Dynas, there's no way that the people at the bank aren't in on that.
They're ahead of the game. That's what's gonna
the
be
people
America
at the bank
next year.
are doing that. But yeah, no, I think that it's a wonderful thing, and like I'm saying, I just hope that people, for me, my opinion, we are in a capitalist system, and I think for too long we've approached capitalism as individuals, and the Mzungu always tells us, "Do as I say, not as I do," because we could talk about whatever you want to talk, the Bilderberg Group, the Council of Foreign Relations, Trilateral Commission. Those are pretty much communist because they're a bunch of individuals who pool their resources together to affect policy and capital to sway in their favor. Right? You can read about the Panama Papers and how these guys were effectively, hiding and shelving money, and then doing this stuff as well. No, the Panama Papers.
The original ones. Okay.
No, there's the stuff that happened in Panama, where Panama, a lot of shell corporations were hiding assets. But those are like different level games of how the wealthy are actually, hiding their income using shell corporations, C corps, and offshore accounts and trust and all that stuff. But my whole premise is that you see that the people in power are working as a collective. Right, they move together and they move as a unit, even though they do individually compete with their corporations. However, we are told we got to do it individually, right? And I'll end with this: there's no, there is systemic oppression, but there's nothing stopping any Black person, especially in the United States right now, from going to ZenBusiness.com, registering, whether it's an S corp or a C corp, getting your DUNS number, getting your Paydex number, with your business credit card. You can set up a business credit card account, open up a business account, and start getting in commerce. And as you build your business credit, if 5 or 10 of you who are like-minded in your organization or in your circle do that, you guys can take that business credit and start making big moves, whether it be in the United States where you're owning, commercial real estate or whatever you want to invest in. I'm not giving investment advice. Or you're taking that money and saying, hey, how can I, figure out a way to make Marcus Garvey, dream come to pass? And that's my push to the people on the panel and to the people listening. We got to figure out a way to attack capital together as a collective, because that's what the people in power are doing.
I dig it.
Go ahead, baby. Go ahead, baby.
Good evening, everyone.
Hey, how are you, baby? You kind of
Good
muffled,
evening.
baby.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Yeah, what I say, the African American relocating back to Africa to me is a plus. Though there's some fundamental differences among us, and there's some people among the African American people back in America thinks African are out to get them, that we hate them and everything. No one hates no one. We're all being oppressed, but the process of the oppression differs, and it's deal with our psychic. So going back to Africa is a good thing. I'm a Nigerian, for example, and there are a lot of potential in Nigeria, especially when it comes to agriculture and services. You make your money if you can start the rigor of the bureaucratic bottleneck in Nigeria. So when I see people talking down African countries, I shake my head like, only if you know what you are missing. No black person will set up a business on the street of Lagos after going through all the bottleneck and anybody walk up to him or her and ask for ID or where are you from. That's not how we operate. We see each other as brothers and sisters. But when I see some of the people saying all sorts of jargons on the internet, especially on YouTube, getting money from all these I don't want all these right-wing conspiracy theorists because of the 10,000 or 50,000 they're paying them. And they're turning us against one another. But when you go on British Airways, when you go on Virgin Airways, you see them on the plane. And they are telling you people not to come to your father's land. Though we have tribal kind of like, where is your father's property in Nigeria? But if you buy a land in Nigeria, there is nothing, no government is not going to come back after 90 years and tell you that you have not paid your taxes and take back your home, which can happen here in UK or in America. If they're owing certain amount of money, they can come in and take your property and nothing is going to happen.
Yeah.
So when
Not
I
even
see,
money.
pardon?
Not even money. You don't even have to have a debt. They just do what they want. Lawless.
So when I see people like Yvette and one guy Nassif, when they're talking out of ignorance, it boils my. Though there's some words that they're holding on to, the boogeyman, the kind of a thing. It's been that word. They might not like it. I'm not against. If you don't like something, you don't like it. But the meaning was not vindictive. It was just maybe out of ignorance. But they hold on to it as the boogeyman. But their intention, most of these people are being sponsored by right-wing packs.
You're saying white people?
Against each other.
Mm-hmm. Every community, they turn against each other. That's the only reason the news exists.
Those are the packs. And they're using some of the packs. And some of the
Baby, it's not right wing or left wing. It's just there's just
no, like what I'm saying, let me tell you, their interest is always allied. But if you look at let me tell you, when it comes to all this grabbing of wealth, there's neither permanent friend or permanent enemy. When it comes to them,
grabbing the world,
there's always a permanent interest.
Where's your accent from?
We're so naive and gullible that they are turning us inwardly against each other. And we now have the boogeyman to justify their hatred. And these people are making peanuts from things, and they're selling their birthright. They go to look. I'll tell you, even the Nigeria have their problem. That this fake news is now growing in Nigeria as well. That they are turning us against their base. They're using religion to do that. And that's why I tell people the problem of insecurity we have in Nigeria is Hydra head. It's not an internal thing. The external force is more than the internal force. Because if Nigeria has a visionary leader and with the human and physical resources that we have, and all the natural resources, a particular country, Western country, is so afraid of Nigeria waking up because that particular country knows the power of Nigeria within that region. And the moment Nigeria gets its act together, they know that days are numbered.
And
but
I
they have
think
some
And I think that particular country is France.
I'm not going to
France,
mention it, but you know what I'm talking about.
France.
Yeah, it's
Where
France.
did this problem start from? From the
Yes.
Niger Basin.
Yes.
Where
Yeah,
did
no,
this-
from Niger. From Niger. France.
from
France
the basin, from the Lake Chad Basin. Nigeria, and in the whole of Western region, after about Nigeria and some of the Western English-speaking countries are the only one that have manufacturing. Most of the French-speaking countries, they don't have manufacturing. They depend on import from that particular country. Imagine Dangote is next to Dangote cement is less than the factory in Ogun State is less than 5 miles or to Benin Republic border, but they prefer to import Lafarge cement from France. Dangote cement is not Republic of Benin.
Is Nigeria divided inside of itself? Like, are
So
the Nigerians?
Dennis, I want to ask you a question. You hear what Bibi just said, right?
Nigeria is
Bibi
divided
just
between-
said.
But that's because of the outsiders. It's not because
No, but you guys, listen, hold on, guys. Listen to what Bibi just said. Bibi just gave an excellent example, and I want to hear Dynas's opinion on that. Because Bibi just said, for example, Dangote has a refinery that is literally a few miles or a few kilometers away from the country Benin, right? Yet Benin will not deal with Dangote. They prefer to have French importation of French cement. What can African leaders do about that? Because the minute African leaders try to do it, they face destabilizing efforts. For example, look at the echo. As of today, Nigeria and most of those West African countries were supposed to have a single currency.
But gas them up.
France are jacking. France are jacking in collaboration with Wakanda.
Dangote's in Benin. He's in Togo as well. Dangote is all over the west coast of Africa.
So Dangote is in Benin in large amounts?
He's not allowed in Benin. He's not allowed in Benin Republic. He's not. He's in Ghana. He's in Kenya.
I'm pretty sure he's in Benin. I know he's in Togo.
He's not in Benin. Go and check. There is no Dangote cement in Benin Republic. None of Dangote doesn't have any bilateral agreement with any French-speaking country, even in Cameroon.
Hey, she's calling the game now, huh?
I think she's on the game, Dynasty. She's on the ball.
Yeah,
But this is what I'm trying to say. So a lot of times when we say African leaders, the truth of the matter is like Bibi was saying, look at that West African currency we were supposed to have by now. It's supposed to be running. They hijacked it.
Acorn?
Let me finish that. Before any of the French-speaking country in West Africa, so any bilateral agreement, they have to get permission from the France.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And none of them have subtitles. And they don't have their central bank. Do you know they don't have their central bank? Their money.
No, they don't. Yeah, they don't.
Their money goes to the French, to the French central bank, the CFA, and they allow only 20% of their annual interest to be used as their budget. After that 20%, they pay interest on their own money.
Yeah,
imagine if such country is liberated, if they take away their wealth from the French national central bank, what do you think will happen to France? France's economy will be as stupid as Togo. So they know what they do. That the issue of Boko Haram in Nigeria is either they have some internal saboteurs as well, but that is an hydra head. Some opportunists have taken advantage as well. That's why when I see people argue blindly against this, and some of my brothers that are more exposed, but they believe the conspiracy theory that African hates them, we don't like them. I laugh like only if these people know their potentials. Only if you look at the mirror and see yourself and know what opportunity abounds. If you can only settle down, gather your resources and go there. If you can do the struggle, a Lagos boy struggle, if you have money in Nigeria, there is a potential. If you have your money and you can stand the rigor, you make your money in Nigeria within 5 years. Nobody's going to delay. No government is going to start chasing you for a tax on everything. If you can do your Lagos, like proper Lagos boy, because we might be think we're comfortable in Western world, but psychologically we're dead.
Yeah.
All right,
We
go ahead,
see
Fanta.
all this vanity thing, but we are not at peace with ourselves. We run at us, 6 o'clock, we're out of bed. We can't even take care of our children.
Go ahead, Fanta. Baby, let me pass it to Fanta. Go ahead, Fanta.
Yeah, hi everyone.
Hello.
Hi.
Yes. While we Black in the world as a whole, we have to know, especially knowing that Africa is our home. When you sit, like the last time I traveled to Ghana was in March. I thought I was going to a European country. There were a lot of whites than black in the plane going to Africa. So we have to sit and think. Even now, I'm from Liberia, originally from Liberia, and the Lebanese, they leave their country. They dream of going to Africa. The Indians, the Arabs, the whites, everyone turning to Africa. So when we come to the US and we talk, they're talking, the YouTubers are opening the eyes of blacks in America. Take opportunity. You don't have to go and live in Africa if you don't want to. But trust me, the whites, the Arabs, the Lebanese, when they get to Africa, trust me, what you cannot go through, they go through it because they feel there's something there they want. They go to Liberia, for example. I will get Liberia as a case study. There will be 3, 4, 5 Lebanese brothers that will get to Liberia. They don't have
They're
anything.
not our brothers. They're not our brothers. Don't call them brothers on this show. Lebanese are not our brothers.
I said Lebanese brothers. Lebanese brothers, which means family. They are family. You're not understanding my English. Like 4 or 5 of them from one family, which they are brothers. That's what I'm saying. They get they get to Liberia. They don't have nothing. They go to the bank. They go and take money from the bank. They open businesses right in Liberia. And guess what? You get to Liberia, they are there flaunting around, bullshitting around, doing a lot of things. You don't have, and now they're even fighting for citizenship in Liberia. Liberia refused. Like, if you're not of a black descendant, you cannot get citizenship in Liberia. Wow. So all these things. And before in Liberia, where we used to buy land like $600, my husband and I, we just bought land. A few years ago, it was like 3,000 plus. Now you cannot even find it. Even Liberia is as dirty as it is, but there are things, people coming, people going back home, taking opportunities. You don't have to go live in Africa, but if you here, if you are like a black family here, if you 3, 4, 5 of your brothers can go together, you build something like stores in Africa, like a shopping center, which would take you like $100,000 can build you few stores somewhere in Africa, one African country, put it into rent. That's some source of income for your family while you live in the US. You don't have to live there. If you don't want to, make the Bible, I always tell people, I said the Bible said we should have dominion over the earth. I'm not going to get myself stuck up in one place. If you're in the US, you can take the good of US, the good of Africa, and benefit yourself. But when they say, people think that you have to fight, you have to fight. Fight till you die and you're gone, and then your children come, they fight, they die, they're gone. The same people, you said this country is yours, you build this country. The other people say they build it, but they're going outside and getting wealth. They're going outside and doing a lot of things. Now you can find, you can even sit here, find a job that works online. I've been following a lot of African Americans that are leaving and going to Africa. Now what they're doing is they stay right here, find something that can make you to work online to have a source of income. Then they go out there, they live on it. It's easy. Yeah. But people, when you tell people, like, if you don't go outside, when the war went to Liberia, I lived in Ghana for 2 years. When I went back to Liberia, my mindset changed. The way I think, I never thought like the ordinary Liberian. People always used to say, Fanta, you speak differently, you think differently, you small, but you have a big set of mind. Because I went outside, I saw things outside of the box. I wasn't boxed in Liberia. I experienced things, I experienced life, and that's just it. You don't have to live in Africa. Go out there, see opportunities. There are a lot of opportunities.
Spread your wings. I want to see.
Spread your wings. Go and find something. Go and see other people's way of life. There are a lot of opportunities out there. But people, you keep saying that they're doing like you go outside. You see when you now get in the plane. You know how many whites are leaving America? Go right now online. Do research. And the people that have money in America now are looking for second passport outside the US. One more about you and myself that making 40,000, 30,000. Those who have money, they are leaving, looking for opportunity out there. One more about you and I. So that's just my contribution.
That's good. You know, I mean, Liberia, they had
Santa,
still
shout
carry
out
on
to
with that
you.
Kun.
Shout out to Santa.
Yeah, let me
Genius.
just Liberia just carry on a little bit with that Kun mentality that they need to stop giving Lebanese loans, you know, from the banks. I mean, you know, like I know a lot of Mandingo and full of brothers in Liberia that struggle, that actually got business minded. They can actually establish something more bigger than that. Yeah. But Liberia rather give Lebanese people loans. I thought they stopped doing it by now. Sierra Leone, I don't think Sierra Leone actually are that really kind to Lebanese people anymore after the war. But having to realize, you know, they're still giving Lebanese loans from the bank is quite disappointing, to be honest. But the rest of it, I'm really pleased with the rest of the your you know, what you just adding to the show. Yeah.
When let me let you know, with the business aspect of bank, you cannot control who before. Let me give you a example. Before in Liberia, when you enter, you go to the big markets, you will see Lebanese all over the place. But when Liberians eyes started opening, now the Lebanese, the water side realized they are all Mandingos, Fulas, and Kisi, and Liberians owning those shops now. So they are pushing Lebanese out of businesses. Bit by bit, the Mandingos and the Fulas are the one pushing the Lebanese out of business. You understand? But all in all, like, you have to open your eyes to see things. You don't have to, because Liberia, we have a saying, I'm not going to be born here, die here. It doesn't mean because I was born in Liberia, I have to die in Liberia. No. It doesn't mean because you were born in America, so you have to die in America. Seek opportunity outside. Go outside and see other things. See opportunities in other countries. Just even by you just going for a visit, take your family for 1 month visit. In Africa, it's so easy, especially those that were born in America, that live in America, that work in America. It's easier for you to invest in Africa because of $40,000 can build you a home in Africa.
I truly agree with you, sister. Absolutely. You know,
and this is the thing. Let me give you an example. Like, for example, if you're an African American couple, this is how most time African would do. You let's say your husband, one person can stay right in America if you have little business or little something doing. One person go to Africa with the kids, or if you don't have children, go there while one person in America working and sending the money. You can be building your home bit by bit. Trust me, if you really work and put your mind to it, within 6 months, you're done with your house.
For somebody else, it would work. I mean,
true, definitely.
I would never. I could never do that.
I'm laughing. Sorry, don't make them. The guy that said the banks are giving the Lebanese money. Sometimes you don't understand. Some of the indigenous back home give them like notes to collect the money from some of their bank affiliates in the country they're going to.
I think in Sierra Leone, they used to give them physical loans they used to give them loans to open up a business.
Nigeria, you know, former Abi Bank.
Why is that the craziest shit we've ever heard? Shouldn't that just
Abi Bank, there's a bank called Abi Bank in Nigeria. It was in Nigeria in the 60s, and I think it closed down in the 90s. That's where most of them bank is an affiliate bank of some of these Arabian banks. So they come from their own country with like a note, like a business facility.
I mean, in Sierra Leone, we have Lebanese that get physical loans from the bank, from the local banks.
It's not like it's easy for people to just walk into the bank. The Lebanese will walk into the bank and get loan like that. Some of the loans have been facilitated by the affiliated bank in their own country before they arrived into the African country. So I don't know if you understand what I mean.
I understand what you're saying, but I know for a fact, because I grew up with Lebanese, they were neighbors. I know Lebanese people in Sierra Leone before the war. And we was okay with them until during the war, when they took some Sierra Leonean back with them to Lebanon. And the way the Sierra Leoneans were treated in Lebanon, they was treated like slave, and up to now they're still maltreating our people over there. You know, after the war, we started saying, "No, we're not having you back."
No, I won't support that.
That's it.
If they try, there are lots of them in Nigeria, even with Nigerian passport, Nigerian citizen, because if you live in Nigerian citizens, you can only keep acquired if you live in Nigeria for 15 years and you go through the process. So, but there are some indigenous way you can get it if an elderly person, like a chief can.
Uh-oh.
Can
Yeah, I
vouch for
think
you that you are one of their children.
Oh.
But you can't tell me you come to Nigeria and start loading yourself and having Nigeria. My brother, they go jackpot
The
for
thing
you.
is, Lebanese been in
They will
Sierra
beat you.
Leone for a long time. They had a very strong
There are
relationship.
lots of them in Nigeria
It
as
was
well.
all
Some of them,
good, to be honest with you.
some of them
The
in
Lebanese,
Nigeria
because
as
of the
well. Too, I
historical
know.
link with the country, which people was all right with that, to be honest with you. I mean, people start changing their mind towards them, during and after the war, and how they maltreated our locals over there, that they took back with them. That's when
I
people start
don't
switching.
mind, but maltreating the locals, I'm against it. Like, they can't even try that bullshit in Lagos. I'm sorry, they can't. You want to maltreat who? I beg. We'll certainly bone to bone. We'll go to police station. And a person will get my pass, they will leave her. I beg.
Yes, but during the war, they did took people back with them to Lebanon. That's what I'm saying. It wasn't in Sierra Leone.
I don't understand. They do.
Yes.
If you give them an inch, they will take a mile if you allow them. So that I know what you're talking about, even with the Chinese madness and everything that is going. My one is, so when they are doing that, when they have that kind of chances, so when I see my African American brothers with these shenanigans, like trying to turn people not to go and invest in Africa, it makes me like, it
Nobody's
saddens my
saying that. No, nobody's saying that. I probably have the stance that doesn't want to leave more than anybody, and I'm definitely not saying that. I believe that Black Americans in Africa need to build bridges and trade and start having more collaborative things that we can both benefit from and benefit both economies. We need to just have a black dollar globally that we really pull out from. I'm just saying, I think there's a lot of other things that are going to have to go along with that. That's why, like, I'm intrigued by like the United States of Africa kind of. I was watching some of the talks back when they were debating that or whatever, and I feel like there's a legitimate grievance with the American government, and I don't know if it's in our blood or what, but it's like, yeah, that's not right, and I think it's bigger than just us, because I think they're exploiting the motherland as well. You know?
They do.
I'm on more radical change.
Yes.
They do. But greed come into it as well. Because there are some of our people that are greedy. They're ready to spend to sell their people for greediness.
There's no, greed is all gluttony. It's all evil. People will worship
human nature,
things.
right?
Yeah, I mean, absolute power corrupts absolutely, but I believe that the sentiment, the understanding, the waking up that's happening right now is able to see over that, and we have to help each other see past that. So that's kind of, I don't want to dominate the conversation. I try to, I'll listen, but that's kind of where my head is at. I'm more like studying the system and figuring out the formula that just makes sense to every single person that is on the correct side. Because there's plenty of white people that are homeless and broke outside, and the government doesn't give a shit about them either.
No, that's true.
I'm not saying that you have my best interest in mind, but we agree on more things than we disagree on.
That's right.
Government.
What would you say?
I mean,
cut the government.
Government.
You don't have to be United States of Africa, but it's only to have.
Either in the Western world or back home, if they tell you they are looking for my interest and yours, and you take that as gospel truth, my brother, you're in another world entirely. They're not there for me and you. They are there for some vested interest.
Where we're there for vested interest? What?
Vested interest, yeah. So they're not there for me and you. They just lie.
You're saying other people.
I didn't hear the first part. They are there to protect the corporations.
Yeah, police. Yeah. To protect the private capital of the ruling class, the elite.
Yeah.
So
I just had the problem with a bank in Nigeria telling them that there's some charges that charging people back home, and everybody kept quiet.
That's what China's doing. So China is getting a lot of, they're colonizing, but in a different way. They're doing it with like loans that they know people need, and the terms on it, they're getting property.
Can you explain how they're colonizing? Because I'm tired of hearing this China is colonizing rhetoric. Give me a breakdown of how they're colonizing.
Yeah, I colonizing is not the best word, because I think colonialism, there was a lot in it, but basically just taking advantage in a certain way.
How are they doing that?
So
what has China done on the record? That have they seized any assets? Have they done anything akin to the IMF?
Oh no! If you weigh them out, no, the IMF is falsy times 10. That's way heavier. I'm not trying to compare it. All I'm saying is that, and yes, for a reference, I believe there was an airport I saw recently. I can't remember exactly.
Which airport? I saw that too, but no one gave specifics. What airport in Africa was seized by the Chinese?
I think there was one about Uganda, I think, but it didn't happen. It's just rumors.
Maybe, yeah.
That's the more. This is all to do with the Western media trying to, belittle Africa with China and China relationship, because they are actually worried about the relationship.
Could be. Oh yeah, they're scared of that Belt and Road.
They're scared. Yeah.
Excuse me. It was true. It was happening. They were seizing things in Africa. Zambia was number one. But
which one? What exactly did they seize? What exactly?
In Zambia.
No, what exactly? I know. What did they seize?
Just wait. Listen, give me a chance to talk.
Let the sister finish, man.
Yeah, give me a chance to talk.
No, but what I'm saying is I need the specific. Don't just say Zambia. What exactly did they seize in Zambia?
To talk. I haven't finished. If you keep in my throat, you won't. I won't say anything. In Zambia, Zambia was owing the government. Even now, the reason why they go Zambia election, because I followed their election. The reason the Zambians got angry with the former president and took him out. He was like a puppet to the Chinese. And if you go to Zambia now, follow Wudumaya, the YouTuber from Ghana. Follow his YouTube. He was in Zambia. Everywhere you turn, there was a Chinese symbol. Chinese in the Zambian police. Chinese this way, Chinese that way. It was all over the place. The airport, the this, the that. But what happened? China realized that their relationship with Africa, because it's not just China going into Africa, it's Europe going into Africa, it's America going into Africa. It's like a competition.
Yep.
So when they realized that other people were running propaganda against them, their friendship in Africa, a lot of the African governments were afraid to take money from them. So now they stop to it. They started telling most of those governments that, okay, we free the debt, we free this, we free that, but it was happening. So it's true, it was happening.
Yeah, but you didn't give me any. Hold on, wait, Al, wait, slow down, Al. We're all intelligent. She did not give a specific. I'm not saying what she's saying was wrong. I want a specific incident of any asset seizure. Can you give me a specific incident? No. What airport? Which was it Uganda or Zambia?
Listen. We're not going. Let me tell you. Listen now. If you're done from here, or you can go online yourself and do your research. I'm just telling you the airport. They seize a lot of things in Zambia. So I'm not going to come in.
Wait, was it the Zambian airport or the Ugandan airport?
To win, it's not part of me.
You wait, listen.
Your own research.
I'm doing the research. Hold on, Al. No, listen. You guys have been. Listen, look. I'm doing the research. I'm on Google right now. I'm trying to find out what specifically, because you guys. Wait, Fanta, wait. Listen. You guys first said it was Zambia, then you said it was Uganda. Which country's asset was seized?
I did not say Uganda. I said Zambia.
Okay, so Zambia had the airport. So you're saying
Zambia had a lot of things seized from the
wait. Oh my gosh, slow down, sister. Wait. No, sister. Wait, listen. I'm asking you a simple question. What specific asset was seized
airport. Uganda
What
International
asset was
Airport.
seized? How many times do I have to say to you? I said the
So
airport.
you're saying
And
the
even- and
Zambian
even
airport.
Chan-
So you're saying the
listen,
Zambian airport was seized? Yes or no?
the Zambia airport, the Chinese, the Zambia could not pay their debts,
God.
and then
And they seized the airport. Is that what you're saying?
they were operating the airport. They took the
No,
airport.
no,
they
no,
were
no, no, no,
operating
no,
it.
sister,
Listen,
sister, wait, no, wait.
Give me
No,
a
you
chance
see?
to talk now.
Wait,
I don't
no,
want to argue
no,
like
because
that.
we're not
Give me a
arguing.
chance
We're
to
not
talk. You
arguing.
asked me
No,
a
no,
question. Just
Fanta,
give me a chance to talk. I
No,
said
Fanta, it
they
doesn't
seized
work
the
like that.
airport.
Listen,
They seized
wait a
the
minute.
airport. You don't want
Wait,
you don't want to listen. I'm not going to give you a chance to talk if you don't give me a chance to talk.
listen.
Give
What
me a
you're
chance to
doing,
talk.
wait,
Give
I
me a
let you
chance to
talk,
talk.
but you're not being specific. What
I
you're
said
doing
the
is you're
airport. Specific.
okay, so
How do you want me to be
wait,
specific?
wait,
They were
wait.
operating the airport.
No, that's not a seizure. That's not an asset seizure. You're not being, you're being disingenuous.
How do you call seizure? If somebody took over your house because you can't pay their debt, they use your house, they take over your house. And if I give you money, you can't pay me back, and I tell you, I come and take your house and renting it, is that seizure?
She's
Why
correct.
you call seizure?
That's not an asset seizure, Fanta. You have to be specific.
No, but that's how they do it. They gangster their way. Is what she's trying to say.
I just told you they took over it, and they even in Zambia, they were all in Zambia was the first African country, because even a lot of Africans even got vexed with that idea. Zambia was one of the first African country where Chinese had their sambo all over because they felt that Zambia could not pay their debts, so they were taking over Zambia. So it's not something
they wanted to use the copper mine, because Zambia is one of the biggest exports for copper. They wanted to use their copper mines for to pay back the debt and stuff like that. When basically they could use.
I'm not disputing that, Al. I'm just trying to say, no one has given a specific policy on record, right, where the Chinese seized the actual asset. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't run the airport. Okay, go ahead.
The airport wasn't seized. It wasn't seized.
This is what I'm saying, Dynas. You get what I'm saying? Now, they may have been doing some things that they can maneuver, but they didn't actually seize the airport. So this is what I'm saying. We have to be careful when we're talking about these things, because we end up falling for propaganda. So I'm not saying that you should trust the Chinese or that they're your best friends. I do great business with the Chinese personally. On my business, I do a lot of business with the Chinese. They're good people that I deal with. However, what I'm saying is that we have to be careful not to fall for the propaganda. Right now, the Chinese are giving us income. They're giving us, infrastructure, and we should be able to take advantage of it. There's no reason why in Africa, for example, when in America, when you build a bridge, they create a toll. That toll provides revenue for that bridge to maintain the bridge and to pay down the bonds that were floated. We don't have those mechanisms. Well, actually, we do have those mechanisms in Africa, but we don't respect our mechanisms in Africa. So these are some of the little things, and I'm glad this was brought up, right? This is the problem of when African Americans do come to Africa. We as Africans have to be straightforward. We have to learn how to do good business, clear business, not paddy. You understand? We know as we do for Africa, not that paddy nonsense that we are used to. That come tomorrow, come Thursday. No, we have to stop doing it that way. When we have clear business and we're doing it straightforward, now we can bring people on board. What do you guys say to that?
Dynas, what do you call seizure? My question: what do you call seizure? If somebody comes,
it wasn't seized. The Chinese government said that the claims that they took over the airport or was, took the airport because of the I guess the
default on payment.
Because of default, they said it's not true. Chinese government said it's
China denied it, but and I get what she's saying. She's saying like,
Dynas, let me ask you a question, right?
Mm-hmm.
When hello, are you getting me?
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, my call was coming in, so I went so low I couldn't hear you guys.
Okay.
So they took over the because what I listen to a lot of, not just the propaganda. One of the station or news channel I listen to that is sometimes it's very neutral. Like like they have a station a news channel called WION, something like that. when I've been listening to it,
I know WION, the Indian
yeah,
station. I know.
I've been listening to them, and they are very neutral. Even when with this whole Ukraine and Russia war, they've been one of the very. They even had to block them off YouTube and all. They're one of the very neutral channel I listen to. So when China will not sit there, China will not come out to tell you yes, we're doing it, because they saw the propaganda that was going on. It's not just.
But
It's
Fonta,
not just.
I understand that, Fonta, but if China says that we didn't seize the airport, then I mean, what do you want us to do?
No, I'm not saying what you're saying. They didn't say it, but it was fact because it was all of it was something like they were taking over Zambia. They were even the Zambian. For you now, what you did you follow the campaign during the election in Zambia? Why the Zambia got rid of the former president?
I don't know. I just know China it hasn't colonized Africa. You know, that's all I know. Joni R, go ahead, Joni. Go ahead, Joni.
Thank you for having me on the show, Dynast. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. So I just want to bring it back that America is getting so expensive. I have children that are in I have children at school. I have children that are in college and that are in middle school and high school. And I was really rethinking about this university thing for this debt for my children. So I'm really rethinking about moving to Africa. And I think it's an option that us Black people need to start looking at, because the debt from school is outrageous. What's you guys' thought on that?
No, you're right. It is outrageous. But I will just say, reach out to good African people who have well-meaning intentions, people like Dynast. Maybe, you vet a good African family, because I'm not going to be the one to tell you, yeah, go to Africa. Africa is beautiful. No, I said it earlier. Think global, right? Black people should be thinking global. But I will tell you, Africa is not.
China.
Hold on, brother. Wait, brother, Steely, slow down, Steely. Steely, tranquilo. Steely, tranquilo. Calmate. So what I was saying, Joni, is that, when you go into Africa, just understand it's not the United States, right? When you walk into a bank, as my friend said, you can't just go into the bank and be out in 5 minutes. And I was talking to my friend in London when I was in Nigeria. She's like, yeah, it's not like the UK. We can't just go in the bank and be done in 5 minutes, right? No, you got to deal with nonsense. You got to deal with headaches. And yeah, it comes with the territory. But what I am saying to you is it is expensive. Take advantage of your dollar and leverage it in Africa. Even if you don't want to necessarily start a business, if you can get some sort of assets like a home, a hotel that you rent and own and you live in, whatever it is, take advantage, but try to meet well-intentioned people. Like I said, people like Dynast, people like, good African family or African Americans who are already on the continent doing good business, because there's a lot of nonsense that even the Africans have to deal with that they won't tell you, right? You got family members, you got somebody who's in Germany working 30 years, sending money back home. They come back, that money's gone. Family members ate it,
Right. I was thinking about reputable universities like in South Africa. They have Cape Town University, which is a fraction of what my son's going to school right now. He wants to get his master's and his PhD. He's going to be a physicist. And we're looking at least 180 to 200, but over there it's so much cheaper. We're looking like 5,000 to 7,000. That's without housing.
But remember, here's the thing: when you go to an Africa, I don't know South Africa, but let's say Nigeria. Nigerian universities are on strike right now, right? Like I was lucky. I had left the country before.
No, you're right. They're still on. I think they're still on. Well,
yeah, I think they're still. I don't know if they came to a conclusion, because the last I saw, they blocked the airport road. So I was like, thank God I had just left before the students blocked the airport road. I'd have missed my flight, right? So a 4-year degree might take 7 years in Nigeria, unless you go to a private university. And then there's other things where, for example, listen, I'll put it out there. Shout out to my country. I love Nigeria, right? Whatever. If you got a girl or something, the professors talk to the young ladies over there. There's quid pro quo. You sex for grades. It happens. It's not always. It's not everywhere. So I'm just saying, as an African American, I'm just saying, be prepared for those things.
No, I'm from the Caribbean. I'm from the
Caribbean. So yeah, So if you see it, don't be like, oh my God, I didn't expect this to be. I'm always telling people, yo, look, this is the bad. This is what you're gonna face. However, if you can deal with that and push through, the tunnel on the end, the light at the end of the tunnel is beautiful, right?
Yeah, it
So,
is, because he won't have that much debt. I'm not trying to leave my son with $250,000 debt. It's just crazy, because there's people in his campus that he goes to school now are from South Africa, are from European countries, and when they talk about how much it's going to cost in America, they're like, what? Like,
but then here's the thing: when he's finished with school, is he comfortable? Because we still live in this European world where your degree is not as valued, right? So the guy who went to Uniben or the guy who went to Ilefe, right, University of whatever that Unilag, whichever one in Nigeria, wherever, compared to the guy who went to Boston University. Are you comfortable knowing that, hey, they might respect Boston University a little bit more just because it's American? So those are some of the trade-offs.
Right, but with the free trade, we have people from Poland, from South Africa. They're coming here and getting the same amount of money, but the less
whites,
right?
The whites are.
Well, which is true. Indians too. They're going in South Africa, coming here, getting the top dollar. The guy that I kind of sold my house from in New Jersey, I was telling him how much it costs, and he went to school in India. He came over here. He's an OBGYN. He's making top dollar. He has no debt. His brother did not like United States.
I think we lost her. Keep it simple. Go ahead.
I want my kids to have options. I don't want them to be stuck here. Because I feel like my income and the cost of living are not catching up with each other. Hello?
All right, keep it simple. Go ahead. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Go ahead. Keep it simple. Keep it simple. Okay, I guess we just remove it. All right. Shoot. Hey, Still My Beats, do me a favor, man. Shoot me an email. I'm gonna put my email in the private chat. Still My Beats. All right, what's your email? Let me unmute him. Hold on. Still My Beats. Still My Beats. You there? Okay, I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on. Go ahead, Elijah. Okay, all right. Keep it simple. You there? Keep it simple.
Man, Dynasty, everybody got that MTN Wi-Fi today.
Yeah. Now that's Airtel.
Nah, it's not Airtel. It's Glow.
No, Glow was nice. I like Glow. Glow was nice.
Glow. Where were you at? Where you was at with the Glow?
You use Glow pretty much everywhere, but I got my Glow. My Niger number is Glow.
Is Glow? Oh man, you lucky, man. Because Glow, I know some people is certain. Once you outside of Lagos, man, Glow's just ugh. Like I got people in Port Harcourt. When I call them, the Glow is just ridiculous. It's either on or off. It's sad. Like MTN still pound for pound, for the most part, is giving me the best service, and then maybe Airtel.
Yeah, I like Glow. Joni, you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, you got anything else you want to share?
No, that's the only thing I was thinking. I really like South Africa, and I like the universities in South Africa. I'm willing to go anywhere else, but he should be wrapping up my oldest son, his 4-year, and he wants to get like his master's, but it's just too expensive for me here, gas him up. So I just
Where's he getting his undergrad at?
Rutgers.
Okay.
Yeah, he's trying to be a physicist, but it's very, very expensive. Like I'm over it. Like yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, well, sure. We'll go ahead and close out. Hey, Still My Beats, you there? Still My Beats. I guess he did. But,
Well, I think he posted his number in the back chat, so you can take a look at it when you get a chance before you close out. I think he posted his number all the way at the top.
Hold on 1 second.
Yeah, he posted in the back chat. You probably take a look at it.
No, it's not there.
It should be. Hold on. Yeah, you see it, right? Yeah, he posted it. So yeah, maybe send him a message.
That's Elijah giving Still My Beats his number.
Oh, okay.
So, anyways, guys, hey everyone, thank you so much for joining. Like, share, and subscribe. Until next time, family, Dynasty Mirror, Search for Uhuru. Peace.